All right, so we're back. We're going to wait for folks to come back in. In the meantime, I'll just keep going on with this game. So we're playing this in Diamond Mine. This is one of a bunch of things I have. This is one of the all-time greats franchise things that I have for Diamond Mine Baseball, and trying to get people more into this game. It's a very, very deep baseball simulation. Lots going on, and very easy to get into, especially if you're already familiar with Action PC Baseball. This game is a doddle. So let's go on with it now. Here's George Foster. Cubs lead 4-0 here. We're in the top of the fourth inning. All right, there's Nathaniel. So, yeah, I just tested everything before I came back on and checked now and working on everything. Okay. So I tested everything here. The only sound that is coming through my headphones, I did a test. So it's not StreamYard. So hopefully, let's try this again. Okay, and hopefully, boom, boom, boom. Yep, and here it is. All right. Let's see what we got here. Wait for Paul to rejoin us here, and hopefully Mike will come back. And we already got 7 folks back. Thank you guys for coming back in. And let's add Dwayne. Hey, bud.
Hey, what's up?
All right, got you nice and clear. And Paul? I'm hearing something. I don't know if that's Dwayne or Paul.
Good on, Mark.
Oh, there's Paul. There's Paul. Okay, are you guys getting any echo over there? Out there in StreamYard land? Or YouTube land or whatever land?
Say something, Paul.
Oh, he dumped out again.
Oh.
So we did hear you. We did hear you, Paul. So we'll soldier forth. We'll sally forth here, Dwayne. I appreciate you coming on for a few minutes. So, what's going on with the World Series project? Is that, thank you, Parallel Lady says much better. Is that on hiatus right now?
That's called Digital Diamond. I'm digital. Yeah, playing app all the time. That's what that's called, Beatles.
Okay. So, are you up to? You should be starting 1912 soon, right?
Still in 1911. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 2 or 3 games, but yeah, 1912's next.
Okay, just let me know so I can make you another poster. So, so here's the way it works, Nate. You do set up an account with them. I would suggest when you start, just use the free StreamYard, unless you're now if you're planning on using it a lot and having guests down the road.
Probably StreamYard, but this is what I suggest using now. Is it's called
go ahead.
EVMUK. It's a lot cheaper. When my StreamYard account runs out, I'm not paying $400 and something bucks a year. I'll pay $200 a year.
And you can have guests on with it and stuff?
That's almost identical to StreamYard. I've already gotten an account with the Beatles. I just haven't paid for it yet. But yeah.
EVMUK?
Yeah. Here, I'll bring up the link to it.
Yeah, if you would, we'll I can't oh, no. If you could, are you at your PC?
I'm on my laptop, yeah.
EVMUK. Let me look it up too, and then I can share it because I don't want you to have to muck about here. EVMUK. I guess it's EVMUK stream. Yeah, because this is EVMUX, so there must be.
Yeah, that's it.
EVMUX. Okay, cool.
Here I got
Let's check this out. All right.
I'll put a link in the chat, but yeah, it's cheap.
I got it.
That's the old price of StreamYard.
Yeah, because StreamYard, I'm kind of getting a little bit. So there you go, Nate. You might want to try that. Ooh, start now for free.
Starts out for free, but like I say, I think it's $20-some a month.
Okay, yeah, basic $19 a month. How many guests can you have?
I'll probably get the
so up to 12. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
that's much better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, because I'll tell you what, man, I'm looking at this price per month of for StreamYard, and it's
Yeah,
just
you're
ridiculous, man.
$40.
I know.
Yep,
I think I'm
I pay it annually, so it was like I say, 200 something bucks.
yeah. So and this is
Now it's
pretty
up to
easy to set
400.
up, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what Gardner's using now.
Oh, really?
I
All
believe. Like
right.
I say, and I like I say I got an account with it, free account, and set it
Mm-hmm.
up and fooled with it because I truthfully thought my StreamYard ran out in March, but it runs out in July.
All right. I might have to do this if I like it. I see that it's. I guess there's not a pay monthly option. Oh yeah, monthly. Let's see what this is monthly. So it's still cheaper. It's $25 a month if you
Yep.
just pay it. I think I'm going to cancel StreamYard after this and start using this, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because your broadcasts sound nice and clear. Everything looks
I'll say
good.
I haven't started using it yet, so I'm
Oh,
still
so
using StreamYard.
have you tested it or like
Yeah, I
give
got
it?
on there and for free, and now I didn't broadcast with it, Beatles, but I got in there and was setting up the scene like I like it with the digital on one screen and the camera set up with the dice and all. So
All right, I'm
that's my
popping this,
main concern is that I can do that. You know what I'm saying?
and then it works. So you said it's yeah. All
Yeah.
right, cool. I'm gonna
It's
give
kind of
this a
like
give it a go.
it's a mixture of layout wise, it's a mixture of StreamYard and what's the other one you use? OP what?
OBS.
OBS. Because you set up the scene and then you click on it like OPS. You know what I'm saying? OBS.
Oh,
You know how
right,
that
right,
works? Yeah.
right.
With StreamYard, you do everything. StreamYard now has that, by the way, that you set up your scene in the
Yeah.
background and click. They just started that. But
Okay.
yeah. So it takes a little get of used to for me. And the main thing you have to remember is to add yourself into the stage so you have a mic,
Yeah.
even if
I
you're not
sometimes
on.
yeah. I that's the same as you know. StreamYard's the same way. If you don't add
Yes.
yourself, I'm gonna have to
Just
try it because one of the reasons why I went back to OBS. Let's get Paul on here. See if we hear him. Paul,
Right, I'm gonna give up if you can't hear me
no,
now.
sound good.
you sound great, man.
Yep.
There you
Oh,
go.
Yep.
oh,
Sounds good.
Finally. So, Dwayne's showing me. Why did I make this full screen? I'm in Egypt. So a new streaming thing. The reason is StreamYard seems to be a memory hog as well. So that's why I went back to OBS for things like out of the park baseball and stuff. I haven't moved stuff onto this new. I bought this new. It's really, really good PC, and I've barely used it yet. I'm like, I just don't have the time right now to move the baseball stuff onto it. So I'm
Well, they
still
say
using my
StreamYard got
laptop.
bought by a big company. Now that might mean bigger and better things to come down the road quicker, and it
Okay,
might be
Mike.
worth the extra price.
Yeah,
Right now, it's not.
I
Right
know,
now,
but
you
dude,
can get everything for cheaper.
this is such a small channel. I'm not going to go, and I think
Yeah,
it's
you know me.
always, yeah,
Like I
it's
say,
just
my camera. I think I did. I didn't get the 20 some dollar camera. I think I got like the $40 or $50 camera. 'Cause I bought that at
okay.
Best Buy. I didn't buy that online, but the headphones cost me $25. Like I say, that's what Rob Explanation Point is the one that directed me about that. I'm like, I'm not getting on YouTube paying all that money. He's like, Dwayne, I got about $100 tied up in everything. He says, that's it.
Wow. Oh well, yeah, because he's all about like just live cam and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So like I say, and that's about what I have wrapped up in it. I got the splitter so I can have like 4 or 5 USB cords plugged in.
right,
The camera, the
have the
camera
same thing.
stand.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's about $100. That ain't bad.
Yeah,
And
that's
believe you
that's.
me, 1,000 some videos later, I've got my money worth out of it.
Yeah, these guys that spend like, I mean, again, like these big YouTubers, I guess, but it's like it's like I was saying at the top of it. I don't know if you came in yet, but these guys are like using mics that you'd find in Abbey Road Studios, and it's like YouTube is compressed audio format. Why are you spending money, this kind of money that YouTube? It doesn't matter. Everything's going to come out compressed anyhow. So I don't get it. You
Yeah.
can streaming does not cost a lot of money. It really, really doesn't, especially for what we do. I mean, if I was doing like creating like videos, like animation or stuff like that, then that's, and doing voiceover work or stuff, that's a different story. But YouTube, I don't get it, man. Derek, if you want to join, the link is there. If you want to join and just say hello, we haven't heard from you in a while. Paul, so we were talking about Pocket Pennant Run. So I wanted to ask you, or do you have, and if you can't answer it, that's fine. Will there be the hotfix release, do you think, for the community this week, or don't we know?
Well, I don't want to say too much because it's not mine, but
okay.
Craig's not been very well. That's why there's the delay.
Okay, understand. Well, for that, obviously, we're going to be patient. And
so
recovery.
He's back on it now.
Okay,
but it's going to be a few days because there's a few things. We've probably found about 6 bugs in the last release.
Oh, you did? Okay, wow.
There's only me who's found about 3 of them, which drives him crazy. But obviously, one of them was in that 19th century game yesterday where players pitched as well as fielded. You see?
Oh, really?
So in his original code, I'm testing. You haven't watched that video, have you?
I haven't.
I'm here getting out of bed to watch your videos.
Oh my God! All right, I'm gonna start telling work. I'm gonna say, look, I've got my good friend over there in Cyprus doing baseball. I've got to leave. Which I'm so fed up with that job anyhow. I'm like,
I'm only teasing you.
No, I understand.
In that game, the very small bullpen, obviously for that century, and so some of the players, a couple of the outfielders were used in relief.
Yes.
For instance, when you've got old Hoss pitching, he was practically the bullpen as well. So So I think they had to drag him off the mound in that game yesterday. But,
sure, Aaron, we do. Come on in.
But I did relieve for him late on. I won't spoil it for you. You can see how that went. But it was one of the outfielders, so I had to bring it. I brought him in, and then obviously the game was not coded fully for those situations because when Craig wrote the game, the Ohtani rule didn't even exist.
Right.
In fact, Craig plays so much old baseball. I don't think he's even heard of Ohtani. So.
Yeah, I got to get talking to Craig because he and I are both like old timey baseball fans.
Hey, fellas.
Both boring old farts.
Come on now. Are you taking the piss here a bit, Paul? Is that what you're doing?
You called me a wanker yesterday. Oh no, that was Craig. Sorry.
I called you tosser and a wanker. I did.
That's what Craig calls me every day because he says. He thinks he writes something that's unbreakable, and about 15 minutes later, he wakes up to 100 messages. But if I'm going to put my name to have tested, I've got to have tested it, haven't I? So
yeah, Mike, so I'll tell you what, though, with your work, this release, though. I mean, right. So the very first, was it Goji? I forget what the first, or was it Helix, whichever it was. I guess
it was his cat. It was his cat's name.
Okay, so that was really trashy. This one has been okay. So this one has been. I mean, I know you found some bugs, but it's been pretty. This is the most rock solid release, at least I've seen of the game. So
I'm glad you said that. But Jasper, by the way, is my puppy's name, so that's why it's called Jasper.
Aww.
I'd say about 90% of the feedback on this one has been positive.
Oh yeah.
But obviously it's that 10% just trying to nail down because I think what people forget, or not everybody, like people like you don't forget, but most people, but some people think they're dealing with a massive company. Someone said to me the other day, Craig is rude. I hope he doesn't treat all his employees like this. All his employees.
Yeah, he's easy, right? Yeah.
he's got me, and I'm free. So That's all
Right,
his that's all
right,
his employers.
right.
But
And he got a tosser in the bargain. So right. I mean, come on, Paul. No, no,
that's my wife is not here. She would come on and agree with you.
no.
Uh, she said, "I hope you're not talking that shit baseball all day and night while I'm not there."
We'll stick up for you. Just send me 20 quid.
You tell her that you use the bathroom, you
But
go eat sometimes, right?
she
Hmm.
said, "I feel like shit this week. I've eaten so much crap. I've
Uh-oh.
got to have a, I've got to have a week of good eating now because otherwise she'll be on my case."
Yeah,
Comes and tests
when's she back from Blighty?
next Sunday. She comes and
Next Sunday.
tests. She comes and tests all my bloods and all sorts of stuff. She knows when I've been eating shit.
Oh, you can't get anything past a wife. I
No,
mean, and
but
any man who thinks he can get something past his wife or his girlfriend, you are seriously deluded. Just not going to happen.
but
Significant
what I was,
others, no.
Nope.
yeah, what I was going to say about a game, what people forget is that this game is now Pocket Pen and Run. It's doing something it was never designed to do. It was never ever designed to play other games on
Hmm.
it, or even to have the advanced level to the stage it is now. So he's had to throw out loads of because it came up with a lot of suggestions. I mean, some of them. I'll tell you things that annoy me. That movies thing
Yeah,
really annoys me. And then people wrote to me and said they love that most about the game. So because a lot of the people who play it, uh, like I said last time I was on, they've not played any other digital games at all. So they come on and there was a lot of suggestions. Do you want to steal and all these what Craig thought were helpful pop-ups. But to
right.
us, to us digital players, they're just bloody annoyances, aren't they? Because we want the game to flow, and
Exactly.
I think like you're what this flows. I haven't played this game for years actually, but it still stands up against a lot of them. This
Yes, it does.
yeah, yeah. But it's because of the flow. A game has to flow, doesn't it? You want some excitement, but you need to be involved in the game. You don't want interruptions and stuff. And
No.
I think with Pocket Pen and Run, I think with the game day, I mean, I use it both ways. As you know, I use it for board game
Hmm.
system and also the game day advanced. And I think the game's flowing pretty well. Once we get the player picks in, like on this screen you've got here, I think it'll look even better then. I was interested in your suggestion about the ballparks. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if that could be implemented, and these were so I'm going to bring up Pocket Pennant Run just for a second because I think this player size, I think would be, I think you got the real estate in there for uh, these. Mike, we got to get you into Pocket Pennant Run, even if you'd use it as a board game. I know you put your stuff into Strat PC, but I really think you'd like this game, and even as a board game assistant, you know.
Oh, absolutely. It looks actually pretty good what I've seen. So
Well, I think we're gonna have to hook. I think we're gonna have to hook you up, brother. That's all there is to it.
Well, I
So
think yeah.
in
Um,
fact, I'm gonna hook you up, man. So do you have PayPal?
I do.
I'm hooking you up, dude. I'm gonna hook you up. So I guess they do. I don't know. We'll figure it out, Paul or Mike. Geez, I'm hooking you up. You got to play this game, dude. It's fun. It's fun. So let's just pick. I'm just gonna actually just be faster to just because I'm not gonna play a game on here.
I was
Let's
gonna
go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say when you guys finish, I can try to share my screen and show the new tournament and the new bracket if you want.
We can do that now. I have this game up just for Diamond Mind is our official Chinwag game, and usually I don't call the game. But last night we had 20 people watching an 1884 game in this. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow.
well,
So
you must watch my video because that was one of the best games I've played for a long time. I did make a massive boo boo at the end, so you've got to check it out.
definitely will.
But I think I forgot what I was going to say now. Everybody's games are welcome, aren't they? It's just a great hobby, isn't it?
Fantastic hobby. Um, God, and I still love these logos. Oh my goodness, I love it.
I have to give Craig that one. That was his idea.
So yeah, look. So if you can imagine, not, but if you can imagine George Foster, maybe scaled down a little bit, but these are almost the right size.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
up there in the corner beside the where it says manager and all? You could put
Oh yeah,
yeah
you
right
could
there where
definitely.
you're yep right there.
The only thing, oh yeah, I
I'll,
guess you could put the picture over here,
Yep,
right?
exactly. Yep.
I might as well be honest. I'll tell you the only reason Craig is hesitant is the amount of negative feedback that comes to other apps, including even Action PC and DDB. Because I know through speaking to Mark, a lot of complaints come from because people they spend hours trying to get people to get their pictures in the right format. So I think that it's important that there's recognition that
Yeah, it can
people
be
just get.
annoying, but most of the time it's
Yeah,
because you don't know what the game needs. As long as
I
you
Right.
think
spell it
that.
out.
Yeah, you're right. But a lot of people they're not skilled, are they? They're trying to do
Oh, I'm
things,
not either, Paul, by no means, but yeah. But you
but a
learn.
lot. I
Mike,
know, but
while we're
some people,
talking, why don't you go to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to see how I can. I
Okay.
some
use it
people
all the
don't.
time. I just have to find out where I can use it.
Some people
I'm
Um,
don't want to
actually
learn. Don't want to learn, do they, Mike? That's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, Paul. They want it hand fed to them.
Aaron, are
I
you
was
with
talking.
us?
yeah, I'm actually sitting here playing
Oh,
Dom
okay.
Bros right now.
Okay, because Nathaniel said you wanted to come on. I'm like, he is on. So we're good.
I,
Okay.
sorry, I got a Dom
I,
Blob game going right now.
Okay,
I need
enjoy.
to. I need to record some of your voices, Aaron. They were fantastic,
Aren't they?
Yeah.
He's
brilliant.
far and wide. He's the envy
He
of YouTube.
he made me do a better commentary yesterday. I tell you,
Oh, he's funny. Oh my god.
Oh, did you
I
see that
got.
Alan Shaw's back on YouTube?
Oh, is he?
Oh,
Great.
Yeah, you have to
Do
check it
you do
out.
you know Alan Paul?
I know Alan very well. In fact, I know we don't talk much other sports on here,
Hmm.
but I bought second season, and Alan is the expert on second season. Uh, have you played that? I know you don't play any others,
that's
people,
he's
but
actually
I
playing.
don't, but the other
Okay,
guys,
when he
the other
actually
guys
says
do.
football, he actually means football, not that thing with the foot and the other
When
sport.
I
No?
say football, I mean soccer. So no, I've not. I'm
well,
so.
I'm talking US football, and you know,
There you go.
Oh,
se-
I don't
second
play that. No. Ugh.
second season.
I'll let
I
you guys
bought.
go ahead and take over on this one. I'm seriously
Okay,
have fun. Go for it.
shut up, Beatles.
I am. I'm shutting up. I'll even mute me, Mike Paul. There we are. Go ahead.
Well, what happened was he's the expert. I bought the game because I love History Maker Baseball, and I was so frightened of playing another US football game because the last one I played was about 1986, and
What
it
game
was
was that?
well. I loved Pay Dirt. I love Pay Dirt, and I play that now. I play that's called Data Driven Football now, and I play that on the board, and that's fantastic. The guy that does that, absolutely brilliant. But the game I played in '86 that frightened me to death was Status Pro Football.
Frightened you? Oh my god, I love that game, Paul. That's the
Yeah,
best
but you've
football
got,
game out there.
I know, but you've got to realise we were only about 3 years into US football then, so we didn't know it. We only knew basic plays, and I think it took me 45 minutes to play one play on it because I just didn't understand. Seriously, so it went back in the box, and I've still got it.
Oh man, you
Uh,
got to get it back out. Oh,
well,
that
no,
game is so awesome. I played the whole. Me and a buddy of mine, Troy Carter, played the whole 1984 season. It was
Wow.
there's a guy that's brought out some subscription model where you play your teams, and he
oh
kept
really?
asking me. Yeah, and he's upgraded it so it shows you the ratings on screen and everything. It's supposed to be fantastic, but the guy is a total arse, so I couldn't. He tried to force me. He tried to force me into some subscription model. I said, "Well, I'm not paying that till I've tested it, am I? You know, it's." But the second season from Play Games, I bought it and it sat in the box for 6 months where I didn't play it at all. And then I saw a couple of Alan Shaw's videos. Wow, I
Yeah,
was
he just
into
did
it.
some inside pitch, and
I was it.
he's going to be maybe the first YouTuber and that I know of that's playing a full season replay of the inside pitch, and he did a video today and put the stats up. He's played 73 games of
Do you mean
the
every
86
game?
Mets
Every
of the
game, or just
just the Mets.
every? Still, that's wow. That's still a hell
Yeah,
of an
so
undertaking. Wow.
you know me with that game. Most people do not play a full season, so he
No.
put the stats up today on a video. And
Do you
if
play
anybody
inside?
knows Alan Shaw, he loves Excel, and he's got a real nice spreadsheet with all
It
the
was really
stats.
cool.
Yeah.
I haven't played inside pitch for a few years.
Yeah, like I say, Paul, everybody that plays it on here, they never play a full season. So Alan's doing a full season, so I'm looking forward to seeing the stats and see how well they are.
Oh, I'll
Yeah,
check that out.
Like I
I've
say,
found that
Alan's a hell of a
interesting.
good guy.
I mean, because
He's
I know why guys do it. I mean, like Robert is immediately comes to mind, but I think a good test of a system, whether it's digital or cards and dice, is to actually play out. If you're just picking that team and playing out a season to really see stats, because that fast score isn't right. So that's why I'm excited about Digital Diamond, because you made this remark some months ago, Dwayne, right? That if you're doing a season replay with Status Pro, now in Digital Diamond, the other teams are playing Status Pro. So like if when you're playing these games, like cards and dice games, but you're bolting on something, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but you're bolting on something like fast score. For one thing, you're not getting stats, right? But the other thing is it's different. It's a different engine completely. So it's taking this into account, that into account. So I wonder if Robert would ever consider, I don't know, his viewership, and I love what he does. I wonder if he would ever consider, actually, he's a big Mets fan, doing a Mets full season replay.
I doubt it. He's got his
Yeah.
niche. He's not coming off of it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with History Maker Baseball is I like watching other people play it. It's too many. If I was back into cards and dice, it's too many dice rolls for me. It really is. I think it's a great game. I think it's a neat concept.
My problem
But
with it,
you
and I love to talk
yeah,
about
Derek, we do.
is
Let me get you on
why
here.
he doesn't card
I
everybody.
got my
Even if
bracket
he
there on the
doesn't
screen. Not sure if you see
want
it.
to,
Yeah, I have it shared, Mike. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Go ahead.
even if he doesn't want to print every card, he's a PDF guy. He has PDFs. And I'm talking about any of his games because I love red, white, and blue racing. Everybody knows it. But he doesn't, even today, he doesn't card every racer in red, white, and
You're
blue.
on,
And he
Derek.
could easily do that and make it a PDF for the extra players, drivers, whatever sport he's doing. And then you can buy the PDF and
Right.
print them yourself. But if History Maker Baseball had every player, I'd be a lot more tempted to buy it.
Yeah.
Does it not have it in the full version? Because you can buy two versions of each season.
No,
Now, can't
Paul,
you?
he does not card everybody. Now, he gives you the how-to guide that you can card them. You know what I'm saying? But no, he does not. And I don't think there's a single sport out there that he does that he cards everybody. Now, the new basketball game, he might, because, of course, there's not as many basketball players.
Derek, feel free to unmute. You're on, my friend.
Mr. Bain.
Oh, now he bopped out. Mike, show us what your I got your screen shared.
Okay, so I did something different after talking to my buddy one night. He says, "Well, if you want to have a baseball doesn't work in the sense of basketball, where it's one and done. It's usually the best team, and that means a long, a 7-game series." So what I decided, we decided we were going over these things. Is
You're on too, Derek.
we took each franchise and we took their best year. So it
Mhm.
didn't matter if they got to the World Series, didn't matter if they didn't qualify for the playoffs. As long as I had them in super advanced, that was going to be their team that was going to represent in this field of 30.
Okay. I like what you're doing, and I see that you're using later. I just want to make sure Derek can. Hi, Derek. If you're talking, oh, here we go again. Are you talking there, Derek? Are you with us? You're on stage. We'll wait till he says something. Anyhow, go ahead, Mike. I just wanted to.
No, you're good.
So I see because when I started the one I'm doing, you said, oh, about later teams, and I see that's what you're doing. Really cool. So you're still doing the thing where. So I'm looking here. So Yankees and the Mariners are the top seeds in this, right?
They were to have the most wins in Major League Baseball history that had in Super Advanced. So
Okay. All right.
unfortunately, most of the Cub teams are not.
Yeah.
So that makes it kind of difficult there, and I kind of refuse to use the. I would read a couple things on Facebook on people running all the best tournaments. The Strat Basic and Advanced, or even just the Advanced, don't work as well with the Super Advanced team, just because how the teams are carded and how the formulas work.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want to put a team and I was looking at some of the old pirate teams going, boy, those are really good, but boy, they're just there's something about them I didn't want to do. And when I was trying to keep within the last 50 plus years or so. So the
Sure.
oldest team available is the team that the series I just finished was the
Mm-hmm.
16 Cubs and the 65 Twins.
Okay. Yeah, because I see you picked the 2015 Pirates. That was a pretty good squad.
They actually had the most wins in history from their franchise that I can actually use. So surprisingly, they had more wins than the 60 team. I think they had more wins than the 79 team has not been carded super advanced yet. I would like to use them.
Uh-huh.
I got the Diamond Gems version of them, but I don't want to play cards and dice against a computer game. Then it's gonna be a little bit more wonky. I have to do
Right. I like this bracket maker. That's really cool. I never heard of this until I saw you on when you were setting up in your stream. I was kind of lurking, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Because for the other games, right? Because Out of the Park gives you that nice, sexy. It's there, right? But the other games, I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this? And that's super cool. So
that's
thanks for the tip.
That's something simple called print your brackets, and you can even say in Google 32 teams single elimination tournament. That should be one of the first Google responses. Is that thing? Then it actually gives you a printed version and a seeded version of it, so you can kind of place them where you want and do that.
Nice.
But this was actually seeded by number of wins, so American could play national. We can have a whole National League. World Series championship, or however it goes.
So, Derek muted again. Derek, can you say something to say
Hey,
hi?
Hey,
Derek.
There he
How you
is.
doing, bud?
Good. Had some headset issues.
Oh, okay. It's been all kinds of issues tonight. Derek, what are you up to? I see you got your music trivia back on social media, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I was staring at the latest image today. I'm like, I have no clue.
Oh well, today. Did you see yesterday?
Was that the one that was? I should probably go on Facebook and find it, because the one was like murky, pinkish, or some weird. And I'm like, what is that? Am I supposed to know this?
Well, you had mentioned Rat the last time I was on.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Because you were more of a synth pop guy, and
Yep. But
I was more of a rock guy. Yeah.
Yes. Yesterday's was Rat, Round and Round.
Round and Round. Okay.
Yes.
And Paul's saying hi to you, Derek. By the way, he's now back in the chat, so we'll get him back.
I'm here too.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
So Derek,
Everywhere.
Derek, your latest videos. I'm just loving all the tutorial videos that you're doing. By the way, so guys, for Baseball for Windows, for Diamond Mind, which I'm trying to ease people into this game, Derek. This game's kind of a hard sell, but it's really good. It's such a good game. And
thanks to you, Derek,
Derek.
figuring out how to do app of Baseball for Windows drafts. I watched those tutorials on how
I learned some stuff from that too, and I've been playing Baseball for Windows forever. And it was like, oh, geez,
longer than me.
Well, yeah. So
can I go ahead and add something?
Yeah,
I played Baseball for Windows a lot back
Derek?
in the 90s. But I'm just kind of coming back to it now.
Well, welcome back.
So, and I really had never used that draft feature, so I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole with that, and I thought it was pretty cool. So
nice.
I just thought I'd give it a shot on mine and see if I could put together the perfect team.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, we got another Brit in the chat. It's MV. MV, how you doing? So, Paul, we got this tosser here from Wales on here.
What was
Oh
Mike?
no, not Welsh.
What
No,
was
he's
Mike
not. He's not
saying?
Welsh, but he lives in Cardiff, but he's not Welsh. But yeah, but he's a limey as well. He's a palmy tosser. Yeah. So yep, you are tosser wanker the whole
He's a
thing.
toss a wanker.
Yeah. So Derek, are you ready for Digital Diamond 13?
Definitely ready. Yep.
Yeah. Pretty excited about it myself. Dwayne going to do the unboxing Monday night, as it were.
Well,
Great.
I can't wait to check that out.
I think
If
Mark
it's
might
not,
be,
if it's
Mark might be
if it's
tired
not-
of me suggesting things through email.
I'm sure. I'm
yeah,
sure.
that's the same as me. I've got about 5 things suggested that he keeps saying are being knocked down. I wanted edit box score put in, but he said nobody asks for it. So
I'm looking forward to. I guess he's done some fixing with the database import function and stuff like for individual players, things like that. So because that's always been kind of an Achilles heel in Digital Diamond. So it looks sharper too. I like it.
Manchester.
That import function is really cool, and I asked him to if he could do like a comma separated, so you could import more than one. Right now, he's adding a thing to import a single player. But I asked him if you could add multiple for a specific year. So
that would be nice. And, I mean, because Out of the Park does that sort of boom kind of mass import thing, which is
do that
kind of
though.
cool.
Right. With the library, you go
you
to
can?
one team. Yeah, that's how I did the bats. But the bats, don't get me wrong, you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 players from one team. But if you use the library and you're importing from, say, the 2018 Yankees and you want X, Y, and Z player, you can click on those 3 players and import them at the same time. But then, again,
you can click on them that way.
Yes,
I hear what you're saying, but the way I want to do is I already have, like, when I'm creating my various libraries that I want to put together, I'm using a script in R, and I have the layman or the retro or the baseball reference ID for those players.
I know what you're saying.
So I want to do a bulk import rather than going through and clicking on players.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And that's a prop I've got to give to Out of the Park
ID. So
yeah, because Out of the Park baseball, I put a thing. It's in the Ned McGreevy Discord that gives you everybody that played, and you basically can just create your text file out of that and do the mass import. So that's pretty easy to do, because in Action PC you've got to kind of do one at a time too. It kind of sucks. So if Mark can do that kind of mass import thing, that would be really nice. But that, and of course, the Status Pro thing. I know it's not. Paul was saying it's not the full, like, super advanced or whatever it is, Status Pro. But
no, not super advanced. It's Status Pro Advanced that Derek puts out. But Derek also released version 4 of the original Status Pro, which is what he's been working with Mark to be integrated into it. Yeah, but originally they led us all to believe that Status Pro Advanced was going to be the game engine in there. But, but they've admitted to me that at the moment is just too much work. So we'd be waiting like 2 years or more if they were going to do that. So it's still pretty exciting. Version 4. But,
absolutely.
But I won't use it.
You won't.
Well, I've got all the Status Pro Advanced seasons, so I'll still just go on and import them into because you can still import those into the game and they appear on screen. They appear on screen, so that's what I'll continue to do. But I still think it's exciting because I've waited many years to see. Well, since 1984 to see Status Pro on computer. It's amazing.
It is. So, Derek, here's a question for you, since you're, driving Mark crazy anyhow. So why not continue? Do you think there's any way to maybe talk Mark into integrating some of these other games down the road? Like, there's a billion Apple clones. So unlike Strat, they didn't protect their whatever, or maybe bringing in Sports Illustrated baseball at some point. I wonder if Mark, if Status Pro is like the first of maybe some other games that might come in later. I mean, could we like as a nation here maybe start to say, hey Mark, by the way, what about Catico or something? I don't know.
Yeah, get the spinners on the screen or something.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Let's do it. The only thing I don't like about graphically about Digital Diamond is the halos around the players. I really, that, like, I don't know. It looks weird to me. Like, the rest of the game looks so nice. I just wish you had a better way to highlight the players, because they look like, so I think why it like kind of drives me crazy is I'm Eastern Orthodox, and they look like really bad icons. So if you ever seen an Orthodox icon, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, this is weird. But looking forward to the game. Can't wait for Dwayne Monday night. Even if I'm a bit late, I'm going to be there. Oh, somebody just left.
No,
I think it was Mike.
I just took out the sharing.
Oh, you could have left it on there, Mike. We were going to talk more about it, man.
Okay, I'll bring it back up.
I'll definitely be there to see that. Watch the unboxing.
Aaron, while I got you on, you said how's Dombrov working for you as far as accessibility?
As far as basically using the keyboard, it's like I can use it's a mouse. It's like a point and click game.
Yeah,
but I'm able to navigate the mouse with my keyboard, and I've done a few games. My only thing that I'm trying to figure out I've got some seasons I downloaded from the website. And I'm trying to figure out how to import them into the game.
So does your software read what's on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just hang with it, because even for sighted people, that's why I begged Richard to go back to the old interface. And thank you. Yeah, great to see more Brits. Yeah, I wish there were more Irish on here, but love the Brits.
I just wish there was more there is more, I was looking in the sound folder. Mm-hmm. There's more sounds than what you hear.
Oh yeah. And you can import your own sounds. It's like Action PC that way. So he was a big Action PC baseball player. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm sitting here practicing second deals. So he was a big Action PC player. But I'm glad it's working for you. But I've begged him, please. I said I was beta testing the game for a while, and I told him, I said, Richard, the community hates the new interface. It's clunky. It just doesn't look nice. Please, if you don't want to let me design something for you, because I'm an artist as well. And he said, well, people are just going to have to just deal with it. Now, I mean, for you, that's not an issue. I get it, but trust me, it's that opening interface in that game where we have to do all these things. It's really bad. The older version was nice and clean, and I don't know what he's thinking.
PC Replay Baseball to do. I was this close to doing a game tonight, but I having trouble finding the pitcher button to automatically do the lineup so I can get a game to go.
So the guy you got to talk to is Bernie Strom. He plays that game. I don't play that game, but you could talk to Bernie. He might be able to help.
I was talking to Jeff, and I were talking tonight, and it was.
Oh, Jeff plays it too, doesn't he?
I was trying to find the button that sets the lineups automatically so you could play a game, but I just couldn't. I think I know where it is. Just gotta find it.
There, Mike gets back up. Yeah. But so Dombrov, I mean, were you able to at least get a game started?
Yes.
Okay,
I've
good.
got a few games actually.
Do you like it?
It's all right. I wish there was more sounds to it, but it's okay. I mean, because
does it use the narrator?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad
it does.
So for those who don't know, Aaron is sightless, so that's why we're sort of having this face conversation.
Actually, I still play with Pure Sim. There's no actual narrator commentary, but yet the commentary is text based, but I can read it.
Good.
And
all right, good.
I had so much fun calling a Pure Sim baseball game. It's so strategy's a little faster.
Strategy baseball, yeah, it is.
You can't slow it down. I don't think.
I'll have to dig around in it. I think you can slow. Yeah. You mean the play-by-play?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of again freeware. It's a freeware spin-off of Pure Sim. So yeah, there's not really a lot you can do with that.
But that doesn't mean that doesn't stop me from enjoying it, because I like the Of course, I still play Action PC football and baseball, and
Yeah.
now that I figured out how to switch back and forth between seasons, I'm doing a lot better with it now and stuff. And of course, like I said earlier, I figured out how to import as played schedules with APA now.
Yeah.
So
good.
I'm almost wondering if I can do Out of the Park. If I can do all these games like that, I wonder if I'm able to try it Out of the Park.
Out of the Park. The problem, and then I've got a question for Mike. The problem with Out of the Park, Aaron, unfortunately, is because what looks like text on there isn't, and that's the problem.
Right.
That's why your software can't read it.
Right.
I wish, because Out of the Park is it's the sandbox. It really is. I mean, you spend $50 and you're ready to rock.
Speaking of sandboxes, I've done my first. I finally started doing my first few in sandbox independent league games. It's 2 leagues with 8 teams in each league.
And what game?
Pure Sim.
Pure Sim. You really like that game. Good.
Oh, I love it. I mean,
good.
Sure, like importing players to draft them, it takes a little bit of time, but it's hard to do that when it keeps it crashes every once in a while, and it's like, ugh.
Mike, my question. Yeah. Mike, my question for you is your email address tied to your PayPal?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Okay. MV asked if he was snoring. Did he fall asleep in the Discord? Really, MV? Here you are talking about you're happy to have more Brits on here, and what are you doing? You're letting the side down, falling asleep in Discord. What a wanker you are, man!
What a wanker! You're bloody wanker.
I hope someday we could get a couple Australians in here, because that would just be, and just have them go off and call you a pommy and stuff like that. It'd be beautiful.
I might.
It's beautiful. Oh, so I have an internet crush now, by the way, guys. So you got to check her out, Australian chick. She's a comedian named Nikki Osborne, and she's from Australia. And
she's brilliant.
She's brilliant. And one of her characters is Bush Barbie. Oh my God. And so she went viral. She does she does condom commercials in Australia, and she's really cute too. But she's funny. Oh my God, guys, check her out. Just when you go on YouTube, do Bush Barbie. You'll love her. She's sweet. Bush Barbie. She's funny.
Barbie.
And I mean, she's straight up Aussie, man. No filters at all. Just great stuff. So, Paul, you're a fan. You know Nikki Osborne, then?
Yeah, you don't watch her for the comedy, though, do you?
Well, no, she's very funny, but yeah, so I watched her stand-up act, and she was wearing this dress that was, gave my eyes a heart attack, Paul. She's a beautiful woman, but funny. Oh my God, she is so funny. But yeah, I mean, I could see having some fun with her, and she could tell all the jokes she wants. Yeah, she good eye, and I mean, she's got these eyes. Oh my God, yeah, she's funny. And you put a dinger on your. What is it? A ding on your on your todger. That's it, on your todger. I love her, man. I know we're going off the rails here. So I'm waiting for Mike to just give me that answer.
Yeah, I texted it to you, Beatles.
Thanks, bud. So Derek, any new books in the works, or that you can tell us about, or not, or?
No, taking a break at the moment.
Taking a break.
Yeah.
Let me ask something to Derek.
Sure.
I'm a big fan there. So when I was in college in the early '90s, we used to sneak up to an abandoned computer lab in my college where someone showed it to me. Because I used to have this old hag who used to run the main computer lab, throw people out if you're playing a game or something. So we found one that was completely unused, and they let people use it. And I had a league set up in college by playing the old Weaver game. The only thing I couldn't stand about it was the wheel of doom they had to go through just to get the game started. But we had like a 7 or 8 team league. We did like almost. We think we started with a franchise team, and we added draft picks to make the team better. I even used one of the big baseball encyclopedias that people talk about, and added guys from there. So yeah, I used to be a ton of fun when you bring that up, or even you did something on Full Count. Yeah, now I play that because of the new enhancements that a guy you should have on here. What's his name? Jason Leonard, the guy who has basically recoded everything for the Hafner project.
I would love to have Jason on here.
I got the new football to work now on my computer, so that's really cool.
The baseball works really well
baseball
too.
Does too, and I like the idea you don't have to go through DOSBox anymore. So,
yep, yeah, we had Jason on on our games and simulations, one of our meetings for Saber. So you can I can post that link in the chat. But yeah, he was great. And
yeah, that'd be great, Derek. He's just amazing work. And I mean, and as I said, back in the day, I never had the opportunity to play full count baseball, and I'm just like absolutely chuffed that I can play it now. I love it, even though the play by play is a little bit, dodgy at times. It's still a fun game. It's still fun.
Derek, have you played? I was looking for a game since you seem to have the abandonware thing. Actually, I'll tell you one of my favorite games actually to play, and again, cover your ears, Beetle. One of my favorite games I play again when I got in college was a game called NFL Challenge.
Yeah, I'll mute. Go ahead.
So if you ever want to look into a game and how great it plays, people say what game do you play that still we played back but when we had to put a disc in the computer that still plays great today. That's one of the best NFL football games I played. It's an X's and O's from a company called the XOR Corporation. It's fantastic. But I was going to ask you, a basketball game that I absolutely love was a game called Hoops. Have you ever heard of that?
It doesn't ring a bell. And
okay,
to be honest, I'm pretty baseball focused.
Okay.
Back in the day, I played some of the Super Bowl Sunday, Avalon Hill, a couple of those games, but I really, I'm pretty much baseball only.
Yeah, I've heard of Hoops. I've heard of Hoops. I saw Andy Lewis as a die roller for it, and I was looking at it, but I've not actually played it. I've heard good things about it though.
So, Mike, with your tournament here that you're what's kind of your schedule for this? I know it's kind of hard with starting a new job and everything. But
well, what I'm trying to do, and it's kind of hard, is I would like today. I finished game 5. I did games 5, 6, and 7. Before I actually did 4 at once. So yeah, the first game, I love the idea of rolling my own dice and then putting everything. But if I'm going to do a 7-game series like this, I almost have to use the basic hit, the one hit approach for swinging, missing, and everything else. So I'm doing that. So it took me about an hour and a half today to play the last 3 games, but all 3 games were really good, and great to the end. So it was a fantastic 7-game series there. So I don't mind. I don't mind if the games remain close, and they were. So
well, besides that, man, as a YouTuber, as I do, doing blowouts are the worst things when they happen, because it's just there was a game one night I did. It was a few years ago, and it was 1902. Ken wanted something from 1902, so I was doing 1902. And the Pirates, of course, you guys know your baseball history. The 1902 Pirates were one of the most dominant teams ever. And they were just absolutely I just got to say, they were bitch slapping the Brooklyn Bridegrooms. It was 14-0, Mike, and it was the 5th inning. And I'm like, oh God. Those are the hardest to do. I hate when blowouts happen, because you got it. You can do the Zoom thing and stuff like that, but it's like, oh shit, right? I hate it. I hate blowouts. So
here's a question for the baseball community: is what do you guys do regarding the dead ball teams and their errors? And do you just have to suck it up, as they say, and watch your teams commit 5 errors at a time? Because when I play Strat, when I played in like the 1920s, 1930s, I'll turn everything to the super advanced fielding, because only for the reason is there are lower odds of getting errors, and it won't be an auto error like if they were playing in strat. And I just can't. It kills me to play games like that where you're not going to tell me every time this guy gets the ball you have to close your eyes because he's going to throw it in the dirt 9 10 and with unfortunately with the advanced strat that's there and some guys who are E40s E50s.
Mm-hmm.
The stratomatic metrics for commit for errors is basically if you play 162 games, you make 13 errors, your E rating will be an E13. But if you play 120 games and you have 56 errors, it's kind of formulated differently, and you still get a real, crazy error rating. So,
well, I mean, the thing with dead ball baseball is, I mean, again, I'm the wrong person to answer your question because that's my favorite era of baseball, is the dead ball era. So for me, I'm actually happy. The errors add. Not only, I mean, it's what happened. It wasn't these guys were bad fielders. They had small gloves and terrible baseball parks. I mean, they didn't rake the infield and stuff in 1915 or whatever. So, but my answer is yeah. Now, and that even happens, Mike, if I'm playing cross era, and I've got the 19. In fact, I've got 4 dead ball teams in the tournament I'm doing. Of the 1906 Cubs, 1917 White Sox, 1902 Pirates, and there's one more.
1912 Boston, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1912 Red Sox, and I'm absolutely fine with it because, again, I actually like to include those dead ball teams because I just think it's fun, just with the errors. I like the game. Dead ball is a faster brand of baseball too. It really is. And so, yeah, so for me, I suck it up. It's like, oh, wow, geez, look, Hannes Wagner, the greatest shortstop of all time, was very error prone. Rick Guzman just here coming in. So that's my answer, but other guys take it away, man. That's what I say. Yes, I suck it up. It is what it is. It's dead ball baseball. Am I the only dead ball player in here? I think I am. Anybody else in the panel play any dead ball baseball?
I've played quite a lot in the past, but I've changed now, and I play a lot of modern baseball just because I found I was losing touch. I was going to games, and I didn't know any of the players.
Yeah, that's how I am now. I have no idea. I don't even know who everybody on the Pirates at all now.
Because I've got every channel on my TV here, on my screen, on my projector, I wanted to get back into it so I know all the modern players as well, so I could feel more involved, So I always play an old season and a tournament, but I also keep current seasons now. That goes for all the sports I play as well.
Okay.
I was ashamed to say I didn't know. I didn't know some of the Cubs till last time. When I went about 5 years ago, and I just lost touch.
Good one there, D. Scott.
I was still expected to see Sammy Sosa,
Yeah, but, I understand. Instead of like Frank Chance. Yeah, there we go. I had to think of a Cub from the dead ball era. Frank Chance, great player.
Obviously, I knew every Cub from 2016.
I would hope so.
By the way, I've tried to replay that series I think I'm up to about eight times now in different game engines.
Have you won it yet?
No, not once. not once. In fact, they've been swept 3 times. The Cubs with it.
Damn. Oh my God, that's harsh.
That was the first. That's actually the first series I did. Was the 16 Cubs and 65 Twins. That's a good pitching staff. They really Lester kind of got bombed through, but still watched my games. But after that, Arrieta pitched really good, and then the guy who's now on the Angels, Hendricks pitched great too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the professor number 2. Yeah, Kyle Hendricks.
And what I did I also took the 2017 Kyle Schwarber. I took him since the 2016 one, he broke his leg in the first week of the season that year.
Ooh. Yeah, he only had about 11 at-bats that season.
Yeah, so I threw the 2017. Basically the same thing. He walks, he homers. He basically does the, the nuanced baseball player.
Yeah.
So, Mike, is that one of the reasons why you and that it's all good? Is that one of the reasons why I don't really like you don't do a lot with dead ball teams? Is because of the higher error rate and stuff like that?
That does get on, but the problem is I'll use the new Stratomatic Super Advanced chart for the ratings,
Right.
and they'll make the plays most of the time. I mean, there are still high probability rolls that get the
Sure.
error,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not as awful.
Okay.
So I can
That's good.
stomach it. There's a couple errors. Okay, I'll deal with it.
And you're
But
rolling for jumps too. A lot. You're gonna be rolling a
well,
lot
no,
for
again,
stolen
again,
bases and stuff like that. Is what I'm saying.
yeah. I'll preface this by again. That's why I'm have to do the one click method to play this. You know, like you said, you didn't want to do a 7-game series and be here till next Christmas. But I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and put this in a go ahead and do the 7 games, but I'm going to have to go ahead and do the one click method and do the computer digital method instead of the rolling my own dice. But that's
because
fine. When I mean, all 7 games were so good. If all these tournament games are going to be similar to this, I'll be really happy with it. So.
Oh yeah, I think you've got. I mean, it's a great lineup of teams here.
And honestly, I'm not a big fan of either 2 top seeds. I'm a Yankee fan, true and true. But
yeah, you are.
I don't know if they have. I don't know if their 4 starters are going to hold up. I don't know what's his name, Dwayne's still here or not. But yeah, I like their team. I know they're deep in depth and everything else. I mean, I just don't know if they can withstand a good pitching staff at them.
Parallel league. That was really bad, by the way. I love it.
They did in the World Series. I was rooting for the Braves. They handled that Braves staff all right.
They did. For the dead baller to get that, by the way. So anyhow, so I want to put this out just in the community since Mike kind of broached the subject, and not being judgmental. We should all play the baseball we love, and I do love other decades. It's just dead ball is kind of my baby, if you will. So just what do you guys think is kind of the, I don't know if resistance is the right word, but reticence there, that's a better word. What's the reticence to playing dead ball baseball? What is it, just because people don't know the players, or what do you guys think? I'm just curious.
Well, I know for me, it's just so far back in history that I don't have any ties to those players. It doesn't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, cool. Anybody else? I know, Paul, you used to play it a lot, and you said the reason you were losing touch with modern baseball, so I get that.
Yeah, I've played a lot in the past, but I didn't feel as invested. I mean, if go to Action PC, I always have mini seasons because I'm conscious that even with medical advances, the probably Cyprus Health Service are not going to be able to keep me alive forever. Like whoever said he was invincible. Is it Trump who said he thinks he's invincible now? And
God.
Yeah, I'm not talking politics. I'm just talking.
Oh no, I know. I just.
I'm talking life expectancy here. But sure. I wanted to get through as many seasons as I could, so I had 2 divisions, 6 NL teams, and 6 AL, and I played those teams consistently from 1920 onwards till 1965. Every season, I've got encyclopedias. We had our own Hall of Fame. Me and my friend who played it, because he played the American League Park, because I hate the DH. And
God bless you for that one. There you go.
And he's a Yankees fan, because he picked, famous team, and I picked the Cubs, like I told you before. And we played every season, and we've got all the records. But I suppose I just didn't feel the games. I mean, because anything could happen in those games, and I didn't feel any connection. A bit like playing the Negro Leagues as well, and like that game I played yesterday. I have to admit, that game I played yesterday between the Bridegrooms and the Greys, that was probably the best, the best dead ball game I've played, because I got involved in it. But that's mainly because of your stream. You got me interested in a different type of play, and I was trying to steal all the time. But if you look at the size of the bullpens, you didn't have many decisions to make, did you? So you brought your pitcher in,
right,
and you knew he was probably going to pitch at least 8 innings, probably a complete game, you know. But so it's just a question of, for me, decision making, because although on the face of it, it's because the rosters was a lot smaller. For me, that was
for 19th century. That's very, very true. When you get into the dead ball era, you start to get into the 25-man roster. I think I mean, my love for it is for Derek. You know, talking about history, because I'm not saying you don't love history, Derek. My God, look at your books. But so for me, it is you know, it is going back. You know, because these are players that I had always read about as an 8-year-old kid. I already loved dead ball baseball, and so learning about these players through the years, and now, you know, that we're in this platinum age of baseball sims, is like, okay, now, you know, guys like Three Finger Brown, Christy Mathewson, Walter Johnson, whatever, I can, you know, sort of experience in a kind of weird way. And I don't want these guys forgotten. And I've preached about that before, so I'm not going to get back on the pulpit for that. But I do find. Oh, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I do love all those old players and the names. In fact, in my Cooperstown set for History Maker Baseball, I'm holding in my hands now Three Finger Brown's card, and he's going to be pitching later today. And I do love playing with those players. I mean, you know, Rabbit Moranville. 1920. I know that's 1920s, but still the names are amazing, aren't they? You know,
right. Well, I mean, the 1920s is a transitional decade, so there's still so it's live ball, but it's still dead ball tactics.
But I mean, I think that's one of the things about baseball, the evocative names, though. Even if we come up to more modern day, like Vinegar Ben Mizell and all those, they're just fantastic. Yeah. It's just a fantastic. I look at other sports; they just don't have the same. They don't seem to have the same color in the name. You know what I mean? It's just
I like dead. I guess for me, and I want to answer. So Parallel League says he likes reading about dead ball baseball. So a great primer on dead ball baseball. One of the best baseball books I've ever read about that era is called Tales from the Dead Ball Era, and it's.
You were going to send me some link to some encyclopedia.
For 19th century. Yeah, I'll get that to you.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so not dead ball, but from 19th century. Although the ball was dead in 19th century. But this one, Tales from the Dead Ball Era. Baseball was violent, and during the dead ball era, it was violent. It was fast. Average game was like an hour and 20 minutes. They went and got it done. It was a lot of small ball, a lot of risk taking, and Bernie Strom, who. He's kind of like one of our elder statesmen, if you will, in the community. Never, ever got near dead ball, knew nothing about it, and caught a few games on this channel, and he absolutely loves it now. But it was interesting watching him, like in his kind of early days playing it, because he was still kind of putting modern baseball tactics and strategy on that era. And I told him, I said, if you try that, you're going to get your butt handed to you. And that's what happened. And he said, I'm having so much fun. I have my cleanup hitter trying to bunt. And it's like, yeah, now you got it. you can't think in terms of, you know, you can't. You just can't think of like, okay, I'm going to get 2 guys on base and my number 4 hitter is going to knock a home run. That's not dead ball.
I actually mentioned you in that video I did yesterday because I tried to get myself into.
I owe him 20 quid now.
Into your mind, you know. I tried playing, stealing at every possible opportunity, and just making things happen. Yeah, and it was. I've got to admit, it was exciting because a lot of modern day baseball, you know, it's either strikeout
or home runs.
Run. Yeah, and it was great to see all these action on the base paths. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm certainly going to investigate it more. Let me know those book names. I'm certainly going to try and pick them up while I'm over.
Yeah, I definitely will. So I think you would like Tales from the Dead Ball Era as well, and it highlights some players. And I learned some things about. Not that I'm an expert on that era, but I know more about that era than I do some others. Like, so 1960s, forget it. I'm lousy with 1960s baseball for some weird reason, because my favorite band is from the 1960s. Anyhow, but Johnny Evers, and I'd read it out a couple times in this channel. So Johnny Evers analyzed, really got deep into just what it takes to throw out a runner trying to steal. And, the preconception about, and which is mostly true, or the about dead ball players, is most of them weren't college guys. A lot of them never graduated high school, but you did have people like Johnny Evers who were very intelligent. Christy Mathewson, of course, graduate of Bucknell, Eddie Plank. So you had this kind of sort of collision of, these people that were digging ditches in the off season, and a guy's going to Bucknell, right, which is an excellent university nearby here. John Montgomery Ward, we were talking about last night, went to Penn State and Columbia. And you've got these guys meeting somebody like King Kelly, who, he frequented more pubs than any sort of schooling. But I love the craziness of the era. That's my draw to it. And the fact that, again, I'll say it and then let it drop. There is a YouTuber whose name I'm not going to ever share, who just said, well, that wasn't real baseball. Dead ball baseball doesn't count. And I'm like, what? And it was like those guys were just a bunch of amateurs. And it's like, they were the best. I mean, it was harder to make a baseball team back then. There were no affiliated minor leagues yet. Branch Rickey didn't invent that. If you didn't make the big club, you were probably going back to that ditch in Indiana. And while we could argue all day that maybe Walter Johnson isn't a patch on, players today, like even on, like, say, Bob Gibson or Greg Maddux or Carlton or whatever, in his day, he was the most dominant pitcher. And look at his record, his lifetime records. He's second only to Cy Young in wins. And Walter Johnson pitched on a club that had, he got no run support. And look at all the black ink for Walter Johnson. The name should be the Walter Johnson Award, not the Cy Young Award. Cy Young had good run support, all kinds of things. He played when the Cleveland Spiders were strong, played with strong Boston teams. Walter Johnson never had that luxury. Played for two good Senators teams, 1913, so he's at the height of his career, and then the 1924 Senators, the only time they ever won the World Series. And by that time, he's like 2 seasons away from being out of baseball. But so in their times, right, these guys like Mathewson and Plank and Johnson and Waddell, they were our Aaron Judges and Mike, our Mike Trouts.
Mike Trouts of today.
Exactly. And when that YouTuber said that, and this guy claims to be a baseball historian, uses that word, actually calls himself. So I think it's a bit of hubris, but it was basically, that doesn't count. It's just not what those guys didn't count. And I'm like, wow, that really kind of blew me away. And I'm like, how can you? I mean, you can play what you love, and I'm not saying like, but to just discount what these people did, and in their times. I mean, so D. Scott talks about the glory of their times. Great book. It's a book of dead ball, and you can track down the actual interview recordings. Great, that's a must read, Paul. So that would be a third book I'm going to suggest. Choose the glory of their times. I'm not trying to convert you, but I think it's a worthy area to study. And what's neat is you'll if you get the audiobook version, you actually hear the players talking about these guys. But even just reading it, so you hear Tommy Leach talking about Hannes Wagner, or the great Sam Crawford talking about, how just it's just brilliant. The Glory of Their Times by Lawrence Ritter may be the greatest baseball book ever written.
I'm excited. No, I don't mind you trying to convert. Well, you don't have to convert me, because
you've played it.
One of the other things I love about baseball as a sport, and maybe this is something to do with your society in the US, but nobody in the UK gives a toss. Nobody cares about the history of their sport or their clubs, or they don't care. All they care about is now, the here and now, what they can do. If they're losing a couple of games, they're shite, they're rubbish, they don't care. Whereas, I'll give you an example. When I went on a tour of Wrigley, I've been on it a few times, obviously, and when you went through that, the guide, he didn't just tell you, like I've been on a tour of football ground in the UK, and they just tell you, oh yeah, this was there. And this guy said that baseball, these people are still alive now in history. You know, all these people from the past, like Evers and people. And they made the game, he said, this tour guide, what it is now. And we pay, and in baseball, you're always paying homage to people in the Hall of Fame and people from the past. And I love that. I love that. And that's one of the things I care about, you know, that you can, and also, of course, you can directly compare people from the past in baseball, because most of my sports, I know baseball, we all say it's changed and the height of the mound has changed over the years and the style of play, you know, to what it is. But if, like, I always compare it to, like, if someone from that time came back now, at least they'd still recognize that that was baseball, because the basic concept of baseball, the precept is, you know, we throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. Whereas you go to modern sports throughout the world, other sports, and I use soccer as one here, and it's unrecognizable as a sport from the past, you know. And I watch a game called rugby league in the UK. If my granddad came back, and he died in the 70s, if he came back now, he would not recognise that, because there's no inner. I think I said it last week. Then like James Earl Jones says, there's no inner feel. Like when you're talking about that dead ball era, I can hear your voice come alive, because that's what I love it. Yeah. Because that's what we all feel about baseball, isn't it? It's the game, and it is the game.
And that's the thing that brings us together. I think you're right. So I know that, you know, like, you know, again, you know, some guys like, and I love all of baseball. And I know, like, Derek, you know, I know you've said, you know, where your wheelhouse is, though. I think we all have wheelhouses, but we do, you know, that it's that connectivity that baseball brings that I really don't think other sports possess. And I think you've hit upon a big part of that is history. And the other thing too, I mean, let's face it, Europeans have a hell of a lot more history than Americans. So maybe it's sort of passé. I don't know. I mean, come on, you know, Paul, we've lived in countries where, you know, we walked on roads that the Romans built, right? So in America, something's old if it's 100 years old, which is kind of humorous if you think about it. It's not old at all, right?
Well, I'll tell you how important baseball is to me. I walked 4 years ago. I was walking in Pompeii, and I was thinking, wow, the carriages were coming down here on the day that Pompeii, you know, Vesuvius exploded. And, but guess what? I had that same feeling of awe when I walked in Wrigley.
Yes,
and that's what baseball means to me. And,
same.
Because it's still history, isn't it? You know, and it doesn't matter how short. You've created, we all know that there's problems wrong with society in Europe and in your own country. But you've created a sport, another sport. Sorry, I'm ranting now, Anna. Sorry. Tell me.
No, have fun. Rabbit on, man. I love it.
Rabbit Moranville on.
That's right.
No, but you've created a sport that is unique, and that is. You know, once I convince people to watch it, they love it, because they all say, "Oh, glorified rounders. Why do you watch that shit?" You know, that's the first. That's the first reaction.
Right.
But you know.
Well, I mean, you know, and baseball has concepts too. So, like in other sports, you know, that other sports have statistics. This one's the most statistically intensive. But if I say to anybody in this chat, and yes, I am parroting, I guess, the Ken Burns baseball documentary, but it was said so well. If I say to you guys, yeah, so-and-so is a 300 hitter. Well, I'm not necessarily talking about that stat, but we know what that means. 300 hitter. That's a concept also. 300 hitter is good. That's a good hitter there. He's a 300 hitter. Or if I throw out the number 714 or 61, we know those numbers. Hey, AP, welcome in. Right. And I don't get that sense. Again, I'm staying with a house full of American football fans, and you don't hear that. Those sort of those numbers don't carry that same weight. If I say the number 56, you guys know what I mean when I'm talking about baseball, right? Well, actually, two of them, right? So Don Larson did something in 1956, but also, of course, Joe DiMaggio in 1941, right? So it's those concepts, and I don't see that in other sports. That's one thing. So even going beyond baseball's history, is that number 714 loomed large and still does. Even though Hank Aaron broke it and then Barry Bonds broke Hank Aaron's record, 714 still means something.
It's just a perfect game.
It is. I think it is. And I think it's the most difficult. Joe Friday. So D. Scott Howard says that was Joe Friday's badge number. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to find Dragnet now on YouTube and look at that. I think it is. I think it's the most difficult sport. I mean, of the four major sports in this country, for a lot of reasons, and I do. I think it's amazing. Who was it on the Ken Burns documentary? Gerald Early said that 1,000 years from now, when archaeologists are looking at America, we're going to be remembered for three perfect things: the Declaration of Independence, jazz, and baseball. I think he's right. I think he's right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, we it's so cool that that even like so if somebody comes in, and they're talking about like, so Rick earlier said, just got home from Diamondbacks trailing Milwaukee 4-0 in the ninth. Base is empty, 1 out in downtown Phoenix. They walk it off 5-4. Very exciting, almost exciting as tabletop sports. But it's just that, like, the way we talk about it. So here's a game that just happened tonight, right? And he's creating this. It's just this narrative, and Rick's not going to forget this. In 20 years, he's not going to forget this night.
It's a situational. It's a situational game, isn't it? You can come in halfway through it, say to your friend, "What's the situation?" It's the bottom of the seventh, 2 on. Yankees trail 1-0.
Right.
You know exactly. Judge is up. You know exactly what. You can see it in your mind, and that's why my first love. I don't know if I've told you that. Am I okay talking? Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course. Please talk.
Yeah. I got made redundant in the 80s, so the late 80s twice. So I bought a couple of, I guess you call them mini cabs in the US, taxis. And
right.
The only way I could listen to those games was on the Armed Forces radio and television network. On the radio as I was driving around, I just loved the way that those guys describe it on the radio. I could see the game. I could see the games, and the way the closest to it in the UK is a cricket commentary,
right?
But because of the time scale is compressed in baseball, not over like 3 or 5 days in cricket.
Test cricket, right?
You feel the glory of you could see every, the commentators, some of the great commentators on the radio, they'd carry on talking about the weather, about what they did that day. They'd be joking, and then they'd just say, "Oh, swing and a miss."
Gosh.
And in the back, you'd just hear swing and a miss, and just thrown in, almost as though the game was incidental to the.
That's true. I think it is true. And I mean, the other thing too is you sit in the stands, you go to a baseball game, you be talking to your mates, right? And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose on a baseball field. The game goes from just this seemingly sedate pace to it gets crazy. Even in the era of strikeout or home run, baseball goes like nuts all of a sudden. And people new to the sport who watch it, they're like, "Oh my God, there's like a lot of action in baseball. I never thought there was." It's like, yeah. Some of it's very subtle action. That's why I think it's a terrible television sport, by the way, because a baseball field's too big. So you miss the fielders positioning themselves in the count, even too, right? Yeah. Or like, the crack of the bat. A good outfielder, right? All the reading I've done from the great outfielders has said, you should be able to tell from the crack of the bat where that ball's going. That good. Yeah. And they're already running when 1/1000th of a second to hit a pitched baseball. Come on. It's a great game.
I'm gonna go and have a coffee in a minute. But can I tell you
cheers.
one more? Can I tell you one more quick story before I go?
You do 5 more long stories if you want. Go for it.
When I was taxiing, I want to take you to October the 15th, 1988.
Okay.
Game one of the World Series, the Kirk Gibson.
Right. Oh my!
So I'm driving. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm picking people up from town in Manchester where I worked on my taxis, because I always drove nights.
Tough city.
I always drove nights because of the traffic and stuff. It was easier, and you'd get the big jobs. And I pick up these 3 girls from a club. They're totally pissed. In those days, they had to close at like 2:30 or whatever. So you pick them up, and I was driving them along, and I knew I was coming to the game was getting exciting. I'm a National League fan through and through, and even though people go against the Dodgers now, they're my second team. And they came up. Gibson was coming to the plate, and I knew this was their last chance. And I knew I was getting to the end of where it was going to start fading out the armed forces signal. So these girls were pissed. So I just said to them as I got near the end of it, I'm going to have to park up here. Oh, you do what you want. They were too pissed in the back. And so I sat up. If any policeman had come past, they would have thought, what the hell is he doing? Taxi driver just sat there with these 3 girls in the back, short skirts as well. But I mean, that's a side issue. I didn't notice that. I was more interested in the baseball at this stage. And I turned it up, and it was fading in and out. And you know how long that at-bat lasted, don't you?
Right.
How many did he foul off? It was just amazing. It was amazing. And by the time I was so excited, and by the time he reached down and hit that homer, I mean, I don't even know if you watch it now how he hit that, because he barely touched it.
He was only playing on one leg.
He had what did I can't remember which commentator that was on the radio.
Vince Scully. So Vince, because Vince Scully's call of that is like incredible.
Yeah, they were both good though. One said, "I don't believe what," because I've got confused in my mind now because I've seen it that many times, which was the radio one. But when he hit that homer, I literally jumped out of the car and ran around the car screaming at the top of my voice.
So those girls must have had a lot of fun with that.
They didn't know what was going on. They thought I'd lost my marbles. They thought I was crazy. I was just screaming.
Oh my God!
So imagine this: a person in deepest Manchester, in the suburbs, and he's from Liverpool, and in 1988, that's what baseball could do to him, just because that's what it means.
What a fantastic story!
And I'll leave you with the last time that someone thought I was crazy about baseball was when I sank to my knees as the Cubs got that last out in 2016. I was watching it on my big projector. Nobody else. My wife in bed, and she heard the massive screaming, and I'm outside running up and down the street at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow!
And the dogs are going crazy, and then I sink to my knees with my Cubs shirt above my head. And I'll leave you with that beautiful image.
See, I'm getting vibes of Shawshank Redemption. When he gets out of prison, he's standing in the rain with his arms outstretched. That's beautiful, what it was man.
Like, because I really thought I would never see the Cubs win the series. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think of all the poor Cubbies fans, right? Because the last time they won was 1908. Heartbreak in that ballpark. But you know what? Before you go, Paul, here's the thing. The funny thing is, at the same time, the Chicago White Sox had one hell of a drought too, right? Because they hadn't won since 1917, but it seemed like the Cubs kind of captured that sort of national, like the Cubs and Red Sox. But if I were the White Sox, I'd be like, hello, we haven't won since 1917.
I know, but you go to Chicago and nobody asks you about the White Sox when you're walking along. They just want to talk about the Cubbies, don't
It's
they?
all about the Cubs.
Yeah, but see, Al Capone was a White Sox fan, so hey, come on.
Scarface.
And nobody's talking about the Cleveland Indians. Those poor guys. 1948. Who around here?
Yeah.
None of us here are even old enough. We weren't around in 1948. Come on. So
well,
yeah.
I would say something. I don't want to sound offensive to the elder statesman here in the chat, but
we don't have anybody here that was around. I don't think there's anybody of that age that saw the Cleveland Indians win.
Castro?
Bernie was born in 51.
Okay.
Five times they've reached a series in my action PC, and they've lost everyone.
Oh, they won 3 World Series in 4 years in a Pearson replay I did for like a few years. They won in 94, 96, I believe, and 97.
Wow.
So
well, you guys are doing well this year. The Cubbies are doing well this year. Early going.
Actually, it was 95, not 96.
Cubbies doing well.
They did well they won 20 games in last April.
Chicago, yeah. You guys let us down though. So I knew the Bucks were out of it last year, right? We had a good strong start and it was sustained into the summer. But then I'm right. We started to fade, and I'm like, okay. And it was weird to see the Cardinals in last place, but because I'm also a Cardinals fan. I know. I'm sorry, but I am.
What?
No, I don't hate the Cubbies though. But the Cardinals are my second team.
I've seen the Cubs play the Cards about, I think it's 12 times on my last count, and the Cards have never beaten them, even when the Cubs are total shit. when I come, they know Paul's in town. They win.
That must be it. But it's just funny. But you guys, I'm thinking, okay, you guys are going to take Milwaukee, and then injuries. Oh man, I can't. Sorry, Nathaniel, I can't stand the Brewers. I can't stand them. Nathaniel's like the most polite Milwaukee Brewers fan I've ever interacted with. The rest of them are just gobshite, man. Derek, thanks for coming in, man. Let's have you on some night for one of a more focused chat with you. I'd love that. All right, we went off the rails the one time, but Derek, thank you, man.
No worries.
Sorry, Derek. It's me talking. Sorry.
No worries. We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. Cheers, man.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cubs beat the Dodgers 16-0 today, says Parallel.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Gosh.
I'm going to watch that in full in a few minutes. The Brewers in mine are in the equivalent of the American League.
Well, that's where they came from, and that's where they should go back to.
And the Astros are in the
National
League.
You can have the Astros back.
Mike says. So, I mean, Nathaniel, you're a good guy, but I can't stand your team, dude. I'm sorry. You know how we are in the National League Central. We're all about the smack talk anyhow, right?
It's so hard to listen to a Brewers game without Bob Uecker.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That's all right. He's up in the great broadcast booth in the sky.
Oh, gosh. Him, Harry Carey, Jack Buck, Vince, they're all calling the game upstairs right now. I guarantee.
Paul brought up a great point, and I think something is lost now, right? Because they had to be descriptive of those games because you couldn't see it, and so that's what made them great. Red Barber and Vince Scully and Ernie Harwell, Bob Prince, they brought that game, and that's what you're missing now. Because you go on MLB Network, and even if you listen to their quote unquote radio broadcasts, they're shite. They really are, because these guys never picked up the art that John Miller can do it, I think, but a lot of these guys can't do it. And when Vince Scully left us, in my estimation, that was the last of the great ones. That was it. I mean, and baseball would have to go back to allowing people to turn on their whatever and listen to baseball games, and you can't anymore. And that's sad. That's, we're left with the likes of Joe Buck, who didn't learn a damn thing from his dad, Jack. one of the great broadcasters of all time. Come on.
I've heard Bob Cook before. He was so good.
Jack Buck was amazing. I used to listen to him KMOX, man. Because they had such a strong signal, Paul. You could hear KMOX all over.
It was Jack Buck on that Kirk Gibson one. That was it.
I could have told you it was Jack Buck. I mean,
I've heard Scully's call, but not Jack Buck's. So
the day that Jack died, it was a Wednesday in 2002, and we were listening to ESPN radio in the car, my dad and I, and they played the Gibson home. They were playing a bunch of highlights of like Jack Buck's best calls, and they played Gibson's home run. I'm like, that, I didn't know anything about it until I heard his call. I'm like, and they explained it. I said that was Jack Buck's memorable call of Kirk Gibson's 1988 World Series Game 1 walk-off home run. I'm like,
but here's the beauty of it, Aaron. You weren't alive in 1988. Okay, nope. You were born in 1990. But here you are talking about a defining moment in this greatest of all games. And we have all talked about these great games in baseball that we weren't around. We've had discussions about the Bobby Thompson game, the shot heard around the world, Dodgers and Giants, or what have you, in these great, great games. And that's also, I don't hear that. I'll hear Steelers fans, for instance, talk about the Immaculate Reception or something like that.
To the hilt. I mean, they talk about it until it's beaten to the ground. But go ahead.
There's something about baseball, and maybe Paul talking about that situational thing. Because think of the whole. You could not have scripted that Kirk Gibson at bat.
Hollywood couldn't have
done that. That was
if you tell the story, no one would believe you.
Nobody believe it. Yeah, exactly.
If that was in a film, you'd say that's ridiculous. How could he hit a home run with no legs?
Right, because if you think about it, you think about a movie like The Natural, and then you think about the Kirk Gibson home run, right? It's the Kirk Gibson home run seems even far more unlikely, if you, as you say, to tell that as a tale to somebody. There's no way. That's bad fiction. You're talking about a guy that's both legs weren't working. Lasorda was like, you can't play, and I mean, you watch the at bat even. And you could see Gibson's in pain, and what guts! And then he hits that ball. I think he was a shock too. But
he was MVP off one at bat, wasn't he?
Yes, deservedly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard both calls of that game.
I'll make a comment if I can.
Yeah. Oh, please, Mike, just chime in, man.
Sorry.
No Robert's Rules of Order here. Just have fun.
To me, Jack Buck is known at least 3 home run calls, and one his son borrowed from him. The 3 I remember him for is the Gibson home run. Also, the one he's here on MLB Network, if you listen to radio broadcasts, is the home run he hit off Tom Niedenfuer.
Ad nauseum.
Home run for the Wizard. That's one of his famous calls when Ozzie Smith, the light-hitting shortstop, hits a home run and beats the Dodgers, goes around the bases, and it's a home run for the Wizard. And the third call, which Jack Buck kind of borrowed from, was the 1991 World Series, the Kirby Puckett home run. We'll see you tomorrow night, which younger son Buck took from him in the 2011 World Series when the Cardinals beat the Rangers, when David Freese hit the home run with the "I'll see you tomorrow night." So it was kind of.
I've heard that was the Ozzie Smith home run at nauseum.
Well, you're going to knock off and get your coffee?
Yeah, I've got to go now. Listen, guys, it's been fantastic talking
Thanks,
to you.
Thanks, mate, as always. And you're always welcome. You're always welcome.
It's amazing, this. It's like a dream come true coming on here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome,
Nice to meet you, Paul.
I do.
Screen.
Take care.
D. Scott says, M's fans everywhere celebrated when Dave Sims went to the Yankees this winter. He's a football guy.
I like him, actually. He's a nice, refreshing voice to hear, and I've actually called on his talk shows when he used to be with WNBC out of New York. So
okay,
so he's a good dude, and came on WFAN, which was the world's first all-day sports radio station.
So, Mike, you're originally from New York, right?
I'm originally from New Jersey for
I was often
years. So
yeah, because I've often wondered, how's a guy living in Utah a Yankee fan? Now I know. Okay. I never knew that. I mean, I hear your voice and I'm like, that's not Utah. He's East Coast. So okay, so you're from Jersey. Nice. So you're just from next door.
Yep, and actually a big Steeler fan. So with you talk about radio, they say, well, you can't be descriptive. Well, listen to Myron Cope. So
Yeah.
legend in the Pittsburgh area.
This says Myron Cope on sports. Yeah, I remember Myron Cope. Remember hearing that voice. Smart guy. How about it? So, Mike, we're gonna pin you down here a couple. We're gonna give you, since you're the Yankees fan. You are like the Yankees fan. All right. And you're in a community that is dominated by Red Sox fans, but now you're going to have the floor to talk about your little beloved Yankees here a little bit for about your beloved Yankees. Are you ready? Tough question when I ask a Yankee fan. You're pinned down and somebody says there's an asteroid hurtling toward Earth, and the only way to save Earth and to divert the asteroid is to proclaim which Yankee team is the greatest of all time in that franchise. Right? So that's question number one.
He's thinking.
It's not as easy as asking.
Precisely. That's why I asked it. Not to trap you, but because I know it's a difficult question.
They're not the best team. They're not the best Yankee team of all time. But if I have an asteroid coming to me, I can only take one Yankee team. If I ever, let's say an asteroid is heading toward me, we have to live in a bunker the rest of our life, and you can give me one set of VCR tapes that I can take with me and has every single game from every single season. I would take the 1978 Yankees and run in my bunker and hide.
There you go. All right, second question. Do you think the 1927 Yankees are overrated?
They are overrated in the sense of when they play in video games, I think, but I think they are. Then again, it was a smaller league back then. They were pitching staffs weren't as good. Ruth was heads and tails better than most, and when you have a guy like Gehrig on the same team putting up just as much as crazy numbers, almost made it unfair for teams to pitch to. And you don't have the pitchers coming in pitching 100 miles an hour, coming in and throwing. The pitchers were limited, the bullpens were limited. So if the starters are going 8 or 9 innings, they weren't good. Gehrig and Ruth were getting 3-4 bats against a lame duck pitcher too. So they put together a monstrous years, but it's the quality of the times. Again, the 61 Yankees don't perform well in these tabletop stuff, again, because you're coming into they're Manuel Maris put together stats against a pitching unrich season because of expansion. So you could look at it different ways.
So here's another thing, no secret to you. The Yankees are pretty loathed in baseball. You know that because of in all professional sports, not just baseball. They've got more championships than anybody, right? So, but with that being said, what are your experiences as a Yankee fan? So how do you answer to that? People, I hate the Yankees, right? Because a lot of people do. How do you deal with that as a Yankees fan?
I was 10 years old when Bucky Dent hit the home run against Mike Torres.
Okay.
So there you go. I mean, that's
okay.
I was alive during the peak of the Yankees, and that was that's one of the reasons I don't usually sim or play 1979, especially playing exact lineups or exact transactions. I don't want to relive August 2nd, 1979. So I don't want to live it. I'll bypass that game and go. That whole series against the Orioles that year with the Munson death were like 1-0 games, and you got the game on Monday Night Baseball where Bobby Mercer. You want to talk about something you can't script. Bobby Mercer coming from the funeral and doing the eulogy and everything else comes back the same day, hits a home run early on in the game, that hits a 2-run single off Tippy Martinez to win the game.
Yeah.
He's coming off the eulogy, being a pallbearer for Munson that day.
Okay, which would just
Gibson, I'll take that.
Yeah, most people. So, and here's another question. So, because you anticipated my next one. So, the Yankees' great history, right? Center fielders. Do you think that Bobby Mercer, and he was no slouch as a player, so don't take this the wrong way, but think about the two center fielders Bobby Mercer had to follow. Do you think that maybe partially what might have kept Mercer from maybe reaching potential of greatness was because he followed Mantle? And you have DiMaggio, Mantle, and here's now Bobby Mercer. What do you think about that?
I was a big Mercer fan. Probably one of my other favorite Yankees. He was a great announcer, kind of a hillbilly type announcer. Always kept it fun, and again, brain cancer killed him.
Yeah.
Mercer had if you look at Mercer's career years, Baseball Reference, he's played 4 teams, such as the Cubs, so he had a good park to hit in, and then he went to the Yankees, and they traded him to the Giants. And they always say that was one of the worst things that probably ever happened to him. The awful weather conditions probably took a lot of home runs off him. Being traded. And then he came back, and then funny thing is, he was asked to retire. And again, I'll get back to the other question, but he was asked to retire so they can make room on the roster for Don Mattingly. So
right.
So it was one of those. Hey, if you want to retire, we'll let you become an announcer, but we need the roster spot.
Okay.
How you want to go out, gracefully or DFA. So.
All right. Who's your favorite Yankee of all time?
Thurman Munson.
Munson. Wow.
Captain be my captain.
That's a good one.
There you go. That's a good one.
Cut too short.
Should he be in the Hall of Fame along with Keith Hernandez? Absolutely.
Yeah. Why Hernandez isn't in there is it's mind-boggling. But that's a whole nother subject.
Well, the problem is that's what you get now with the multiple committees, the multiple.
It's a joke, Mike. It's a joke.
I really love Dave Parker, and I'm glad they're going to get him in before he dies. But it's maybe he shouldn't be in. He was a great player for the era, but it's
he had big shoes to fill too. Dave Parker. Farland Roberto Clemente is a tough act. I'm glad the Cobra's in, and I'm glad Dick Allen's in, but Keith Hernandez not in the Hall of Fame has got to be one of the biggest snubs ever.
That's an injustice, if you ask me.
Well, Mattingly also should probably be along with him too, but again, he got cut short a little bit from his back and everything else.
Yeah. You know what though? So a friend of mine, Mike, Alex Ruffini, I don't know where he's off in Italy now. Last time I heard from him, he's a huge baseball fan. He's one of the 4 other Pirate fans on here besides myself. And he was talking, and I don't know, maybe throw this out to you, Mike, and to everybody too, please. Alex's contention is that because we have so many teams now in baseball, that he feels that the standard for getting into the Hall of Fame has actually been lowered. Sure, we're going to, Mike Trout's going to be a Hall of Famer. Aaron Judge is going to be a Hall of Famer, but it seems like that let's just go back to the 1970s, and understanding that we're doing everything in retrospect. It seemed like you had stronger Hall of Famers even coming out of the 70s, Gibson, Carlton, whatever. Hey, welcome back, Paul. What do you think about that, Mike? Do you think that they've kind of had to lower the bar because now we don't have pitchers throwing complete games anymore? We got quality starts. We've got this very different baseball game that was played. I think the 1970s, one of the greatest decades in baseball. Period. One of the greatest periods. But what do you think about that theory of that Alex and I were talking about?
It's really interesting. I mean, people are even saying, "Hey, let's go to 32 teams." I mean, we're hoping to get our own team, just like we got hockey this year. I mean, it would be great, but
a franchise in Salt Lake would be awesome.
I'm not sure how the baseball would go with more. Where do you have to take more pitchers from other teams and cut down the sorry, I was reading Paul's
the answer is no. Right. So before 20 rookie fielders who pitch in game go back to field if removed from pitching, no, because Babe Ruth is the right. Everybody talks about Shohei Ohtani. So, I mean, when Babe Ruth was taken off the mound, they couldn't use him as a pinch hitter. When you're out, you're out. In the dead ball era, what they would do sometimes is if you had, like, because somebody was talking about a game where it was clearly just a rout, and so like why the home team was still up. So sometimes if the game didn't matter or it was such a big rout, the idea in this Wild West crazy time in baseball is they would still allow the team that was getting its butt kicked to have ups. But Babe Ruth was if he was pitching, so he started with the Red Sox. I know, Mike, that hurts your ears, but he started with the Red Sox. But he was out. He's out. So, yeah. So, so the Ohtani rule kind of changed some things there. Yep. You can place him in another position on the field, is what Dwayne's saying here. But I mean, you can't. But if he's out, if he's
knocked out as a pitcher, he stays in DHs. Okay, how fair is that?
Well, it's not. It's not. I mean, that's, again, the Red Sox could have done well. Of course, the days Babe Ruth wasn't pitching for Boston, he was playing the outfield. So, yeah. So my favorite Yankee is Lou Gehrig, because I always root for the underdog guy. That's why Gehrig was always under the shadow of everybody else in baseball, and here's one of the immortals, right? But yet he was always under the shadow of Babe Ruth, has his breakout year, right? But on the day that he hits 4 home runs in a game, what took the news that day was John McGraw retiring from baseball. And I always felt bad for Lou Gehrig. I mean, not that he asked me, I never knew him, but you know what I mean? It's just Gehrig was he was just this quiet player that just, and pitchers of the time said that they feared facing Gehrig more than facing Babe Ruth. Imagine that. Because I guess he hit these wicked line drive home runs. Babe Ruth hit those big arcing shots. Gehrig was a line drive hitter. Gehrig also had some speed. He would steal home. I think, didn't he hold the Yankees record or the Major League record for Grand Slams for a while or something, like 23 or something? I think it was Gehrig's record.
I think he did.
I mean, he did these great things, but Babe Ruth loomed so large, and finally, that's why I like the 1936 Yankees so much, Mike, is because you have this great sort of conflux of two great things happening, right? Gehrig has this great breakout year, and you got Joe DiMaggio's rookie year, and I love the 1936 Yankees. Love them. I love that team, and in fact, in the tournament I'm doing, I think you were there the night that I was starting to put the teams in. And, of course, the AP says 1927 Yankees. I'm like, I want to put the 36 Yankees in. But I left the 27 Yankees in. But I don't know if you've looked into the 36 Yankees or much. But love the 1936 Yankees, and Lou Gehrig is my favorite Yankee. But I'll tell you another guy I love, too, from the Yankees is Bernie Williams.
Yeah, a little half musician, huh?
Well, hey, what are you going to do, right?
I didn't know he was from Puerto Rico until I read about it on Wikipedia. I'm like, I thought he was from somewhere in like Texas or something like that. It said Puerto Rico. I was like, what?
Damn fine ball player. Fine ball player, and really loved in New York. So, Mike, have you been back? Like, did you ever, before the original Yankee Stadium was torn down by the evil empire, did you get back to New York to see any Yankees games after moving to Utah?
Didn't get to a game. The last time we were actually back was probably was Thanksgiving after 9/11. So it's talking about a new era. So walking off the plane and seeing armed guards with bazookas on their shoulders, the AK-47s and everything else, and it was just a new world. So we went in New York that weekend, and it was still a couple months old and everything else. So it was a bit scary and crazy. I think I mentioned it in your chats though. The one Yankee game I remember was the 1981 AL mini series, Yankees Brewers Game 5. We were there for, and I was there with my brother and one of his friends, and that was I could still remember the whole night, every situation. We got car mini broke down in the middle of the city, and we had to walk a little bit, and then we got the car working finally. We
Yeah.
got there a little bit late. Brewers were ahead. Jackson Gamble back-to-back home runs, and the Yankees clinched the 1981 Eastern Division mini series that year. Then went to play the A's in the ALCS, and went on to play the Dodgers in the World Series.
That 1981 season was a weird one.
Remember one of my favorite all-time Yankees is, again, I don't remember it as much, but my mother has always told me when she was alive, when we went to a Yankee game at the old Yankee Stadium. So it was in the early 70s, and we went to what was called it was like this picture day, and we had a chance to take they took pictures with other Yankees. And I don't know, my brothers or something went, and they sat with some of the Yankees who were kind of grouchier. But my mother always tells me the Yankee I sat with was so nice to me, was very, he was just an absolute gentleman. And his name was Elston Howard. And,
Wow.
So it's like, I kind of always have respect for Elston, along with Munson and everything else, just for that.
Oh, absolutely. So. In fact, there's a ball field. I don't know if it's still there, but it was a couple blocks from Yankee Stadium. It was Elston Howard Field, so it was right near Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you were familiar with that or
no,
Mike,
I didn't know. It
was not far. The Ohtani rule. So maybe I was misunderstanding the question. So when I was bringing up Babe Ruth, yeah, you could pull him as a pitcher and put him in the field in the game, but so maybe I was misunderstanding the question because the guys are still going on about the Ohtani rule. But just which I find humorous because it's like, wow, Shohei Ohtani. It's like there was some guy 100 years ago that was doing what he's doing. Would have made the Hall of Fame as a pitcher, and people forget that about Babe Ruth. He was dominant. Look at his record as a pitcher with the Boston Red Sox in the dead ball era. And the only thing that kept him from being in the Hall of Fame as a pitcher is the Red Sox learned he could hit a ton. I mean, right? Yeah, he had 29 home runs. So, and what season was that? 1919, I think it was. Right. So right before going to the Yankees. And so the home run king of the dead ball era is Gavy Kravitz. But here's Babe Ruth, hit 29 home runs. It's like, yeah, this guy's going to play the field when he's not pitching. And that's why I think he's, for me, the greatest baseball player, just because he would have made it also as a pitcher. But another story there. Mike, I really like this because I don't get it. I mean, I know that there are Yankee fans in this community, but it's dominated by Red Sox fans. You know that, and I know that. A lot of Red Sox fans here. And so, like, I'm always looking around for, like, okay, the Pirate fans. There's like 5 of us in here. I'm not here tonight, but I think there's like 5 Pirate fans in the community that I know of. I'm sure there's a few more Yankee fans.
My dad's a big time Pirates fan.
I know.
I mean,
but what is it with these Boston Red Sox folks, man? And I love you guys. We love you guys. But it's like, it seems like Boston is like is it the epicenter of like people who sim baseball? It's incredible how many Boston Red Sox fans there are in this community. It's nuts.
Well, I guess I can say I could say before 2003, you can always say, I guess if they think they can take their Red Sox to a tabletop World Series, that's great because they're never going to win one in real life.
And then 2004
then 2003 happened. They won like 4 cents. So it's like I guess I can't say that anymore. So
that was 2004 when they won the World.
Do you know what I would? Yeah. Do you know what I would have loved, Mike? Seriously, I mean, now we're off just to veer off from the Yankees just for a moment. So when the Cubs and Red Sox both had their droughts, wouldn't it have been amazing to have a Cubs Red Sox World Series happen?
Oh,
that would be a great series.
Oh my God, maybe the greatest of all time. Just the hype.
Died.
Just the hype. Imagine that. And in fact, what was it? 2003. They were both in contention.
That was the Luis Gonzalez, or that's an Alex Gonzalez era at shortstop, and then they came back, and the Padres or the Marlins took them and then beat the Yankees in that kind of World Series.
Yeah,
that was a dud series. I watched that on Fox, and it was like Roger Clemens was going to retire at the end of the year. But then it was just like the way it ended was like whoop, like whoop whoop. Here comes the Marlins, and then they haven't won jack squat since. But
I don't know. There's some World Series are just blah. The 1990 World Series was boring.
It was,
the only thing that made the 1989 series exciting was the earthquake. I don't know.
My uncle was telling a story to me when he was alive. He watched that, and it got to the part where McCarver's talking, and you hear the static. I think remember the, and then it went black for like what, over almost a minute, but they got the feedback, and it was like an audio.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a phone line, but it's like
the Al Michaels Tim McCarver call, which is again one of the true great calls.
D. Scott, who was it? So D. Scott saying the only kid he grew up with to make the show was a Yankee who came up through the minors with Munson. He said that was tough for a Dodger fan. D. Scott's a Dodger fan. So who was it, D. Scott? Got to know, man. Got to know.
But yeah, like that. I've heard many a story growing up about baseball games that my family had watched, or it's like driving home from night, like working overtime to listen to the 1990 World Series and Eric Davis hitting that home run off of Dave Stewart. I mean, or 6 years later, the day that John McSherry died.
Oof, that was scary.
My dad said he was driving. He was actually coming home from work, and he was listening to the Marty and Joe, and they were like, "Oh, you don't look too good." And then sure enough, a few pitches later, he had collapsed and basically died on the field, and they canceled the game, and it pissed off Marge Schott especially. But
that was terrible. I saw a YouTube video of that. Oh my God, it was awful. I'm going to let this play while we're talking. But just to catch you guys up, George Foster just hit a 3-run homer. It's 4-3 Chicago. Paul shouldn't have left. Anyhow, go ahead, Aaron, please.
But there's little audio of the Marty and Joe call, but it's not of the actual. There's like a
Steve Klein. Okay.
The actual collapse. It's more like there's like after the fact, because you hear like a few minutes of the call, and then you hear like the little news clippings they did where they were saying some fans were mad because they were like, "Oh, when the store owner dies, they don't close down the store." When somebody, it's like. But I remember like
you do realize Marge Schott did want that game to continue, right?
She didn't want it to continue.
She did want it to continue.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she's a little.
She was nuts, man. That woman. Oof.
I mean, like. She was mad that the Reds won the World Series in '90 because they didn't win it in Cincinnati. You won the series, for crying out loud. I mean,
as bad as our ownership is in Pittsburgh, we never had Marge Schott, and I'm happy about that.
Thank God you never had Marge Schott. I mean, she was so outspoken. I mean, but I remember many times as a kid, I'd be channel surfing, and I put it on like TBS, and if I wanted to watch wrestling, I'd hear the Atlanta Braves because they would always have, I guess, wrestling. I guess the Braves always were on first before you put 6:05 Saturday Night Wrestling on TV.
Let me tell you something, Aaron. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I was watching it back home. There's nothing I hated more were 7:00 Brave games, because it only meant the 6:05 wrestling was an hour broadcast. Yep. Instead of the normal 2-hour broadcast. I kind of like when the Braves played early Saturday afternoon, not televised. It meant I was getting 2 hours of wrestling at night. Or they're on the West Coast, or they're playing against the Dodgers or Giants, and they're
out
playing
west.
Out west. Again, you get the 2-hour broadcast, and you have to worry about it. To me, that.
And if you stayed up late enough, you could watch the Braves.
Right.
I mean,
that was the first superstation we got at home. Was TBS.
TBS, the superstation in Atlanta, Georgia, the Atlanta Braves. I grew up when they were red hot. I mean, they were winning the division every single year, and then they just could not win the World. It's like I would literally ask myself, who's going to bounce them out this year? And then it was like, yeah, they make the World Series. What, 1, 2, 3, 4 4 times. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in that stretch and only win it once. But yet the other times they've been in the playoffs, they're always bounced out by a division series team or a LCS team like the Marlins in '97 or something like that. I mean, it was just like they can't win the big one except once. I mean, but we got the Reds for a while too, and then they blacked them out, and we had George Grand and Chris Welch. But I really didn't get into baseball fully until like 2002 because I was going to minor league games in Lexington and all that, and listening to Legends games and hearing like occasional ESPN broadcasts of games on like during the day, weekdays, or maybe the occasional Sunday night baseball game with Miller and Morgan. But
check your PayPal, Mike.
Okay.
But it was
And
always
enjoy, my friend. You'll
Yes.
get a link. Just 1 second here, Aaron. So,
Yeah.
Mike, what I got you so you can pick up the physical game as well, because the cards are beautiful. But what'll happen is once you make your purchase and stuff, you'll get an email, and that will give you access to the Pocket Pennant Run software. So let me know if you don't get that link like by tomorrow or something, and I can let Craig know. Okay. But enjoy Pocket Pennant Run, my friend.
Pocket Pennant Run.
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I wasn't really fully into baseball till at least 2002 or 3, mostly 2 because that's when I started going to minor league games. But in 03, I went to my first Reds game, and I'll tell you something. The price of food is a lot different than it is in a minor league game.
Yeah.
I mean, like a hot dog. I forget the price of a hot dog back then, but damn, I mean, and the fact that it was a church trip. Our church had had gotten tickets to go to a Reds game, and it was standing room only tickets. And I've said to myself, there is no way in hell that we're standing and watching a game. Not like constantly standing, but like, sitting. We're not going to stand through the whole game. It's just no way. So my brother and I did a little covert operation, and we kind of would like sit in a couple seats for a while and move after a few innings and sit in some more seats for a while, then move. And then about the 9th inning, we got up and we walked back to the bus. But I mean, I've been to 5 or 6 Reds games in my life, and it's like the attendance in a minor league game is about 8,000 at most, maybe more if you're lucky. But a Reds game is like 50 up to 40 some odd thousand people, and it's like you can hear, you listen to Marty and Joe and all that, and it's just when Joe retired in 2004, it was like I thought this is the end of an era because you got, they've been doing the Reds together for forever, and it was so sad. Like, who's going to replace Joe? And it was like because Steve Stewart was going to go, and then they call up Jeff Brantley, who leaves ESPN, and it's like, people say, "Oh, what a nosedive he took by taking the Reds," and he's still doing the Reds games today. But like I've said this a lot too. Like baseball is not watching it on TV is so bad. I mean, it's like they don't call the game; they just talk about a book, talk about a movie they watched, or they talk about something else, and it's like they're
it's not a TV sport anyhow. It's because the baseball field's too big. It's just too big, right? So with American football, right? You've got that, what do you call it, line of scrimmage, I guess, where everybody's hanging out and stuff, and they're going to bump into each other. So the camera can focus on that,
yeah,
right? But what do you focus on in baseball, right? So you have the pitcher and the hitter, right? So and you're seeing that. So occasionally it used to have where you'd have the guys on, if you had a base stealer back when base stealing was a thing, but baseball, but you miss so much of baseball game, that repositioning of the fielders, maybe that shortstop's leaning just a little left or whatever. You're missing subtleties in baseball, and I think the only way is either listen to baseball or see it live. That's baseball on television. If I've had friends that are now baseball fans, but they weren't, like, they watched it and they're like, it's boring. I'm like, look, just trust me. went to a couple Pirates games, and they were like, "Wow, this is fun," and they became baseball fans.
You have the time of your life when you see a baseball game live. I mean, you're in it's or it, like you mentioned the Thompson shot her around the world.
Old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Love it. Go ahead.
This is the old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Good night, everyone. But yeah, you mentioned the Thompson shot. I don't think to this day there's full audio of that game. I mean,
so it's funny about that because what survives, you can hear both calls, and in fact, I've said this before in the first Godfather movie, when Sonny is killed on the causeway, there's a baseball game playing in the background. Now, bear in mind, this is 1945 when he's killed in this movie. Sorry, guys, but if you haven't seen The Godfather, where have you been? Under a rock. But the game that's playing, that the toll booth turnpike guard, whatever he is listening to, is that 1951 Dodgers Giants game. So a little bit of trivia. But so Russ Hodges, of course, right? Everybody knows, if you've heard that call, Russ Hodges, right? The Giants win the pennant. He's having a cow. But Red Barber just said Giants win. That was it.
That's it. Giants win.
Broadcaster for the Dodgers. So but you're right. I don't know that there's a full audio for that. But
you might hear like the mutual. I think there's a mutual network broadcast of the game on YouTube somewhere, like of Gordon McClendon or something like that.
Well, what is that collection? Is it the Conlon collection, Mike? Somebody was talking about that this guy did. He has like he's archived like all these baseball games, these recordings, and it's like super expensive. But the Library of Congress, I guess, is working on archiving those things, and that game is probably in there.
Well, there is the Ken Coleman collection, but that's just I mean, like I'll listen to classic baseball on the radio, and it's so nice to hear like they're going into the 80s now, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's nice to hear like the broadcasters of the day, your Harwells, your Princes, your Lindsey Nelsons, and all that. Even who did Yankee radio in the 80s or 70s? Because it wasn't.
You'd have to ask Mike that. I have no idea.
It wasn't Sterling, because Sterling was doing the Braves in the 80s.
15 minutes, maybe.
But like
ask Mike once he gets back on here.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
Who did Yankees games on the radio in the 80s, like 70s and 80s?
That was Rizzuto, White, and Messer.
I assume Phil Rizzuto, Roy White.
No, it was Bill White, who used to be the National League president.
Yeah, and played with the Cardinals and the Phillies in '66. Mm-hmm. How do I know? Because I've seen him play in Napa before. He's on the pennant-winning team of my '66 replay. But because John Sterling was doing the Braves in the '80s.
He's famous for that. He's famous for, if this guy hits a home run, it's going to be considered the wackiest game ever played or something. That's when Rick Camp came up.
The Rick Camp game.
Yeah.
There's no full broadcast of that either, because they switch out.
They do. I've seen like a 2-hour broadcast of it, and it's like a mix of most of the Met broadcast, actually, not the Sterling broadcast. You can see it if you want to share a screen and play that. I don't think you're going to get dinged for it. The Sterling call on that home run is pretty funny. So
I've heard it. I mean, it was like 3-something in the morning when he hit it. I'm like, and they still lost.
And they still did the fireworks for him. Yeah, and 911 got flooded because people were saying, "Oh, what were the guns shooting going on?" So nope, it's just fireworks at the baseball game tonight.
I mean, and this is '85. Like, there wasn't no curfew. Was there a rule like a game?
2 a.m. There used to be a 2 a.m. curfew, but I think that was I might have just been American League.
I think it was an American League rule because
Sunshine.
I mean,
I'm following their story here. I'm going to quick play this one out. Cubs are winning 7-3. Holy hell!
Is this you playing Diamond Mine there, Beatles?
I'm letting this play while we're talking, but it's turning into a rout now. The Cubs are just killing them.
I remember I always hated like being in like when I was in school or when I was home on the weekends from school, and I'd be listening to, say, a Reds game or whatever, and it would go into extras, and then I had to go to bed. Ugh. I mean, I'll tell you, in 2004, during the ALCS with the Red Sox and Yankees, when they were down 3-0, and they I don't want to poke you with a stick here, Mike, but when the what was it, when Ortiz, I think it was Ortiz, hit that home run. I was watching that game on Fox, and it kept on going and going and going. I'm thinking, I was off school that day, but I'm thinking I got to go to bed just to keep my sleep schedule up. So I'm like, okay, I'll find out what happened in the morning. And the first thing I did was put it on ESPN, and they were showing it on, they were talking about it on Sports Center, and I'm like, wow, that's one win. They got to beat them 3 more times, and then the next game they played another extra inning game that went on almost longer than the one before it, and I'm like, how are they? It was so crazy because it's like they kept on playing and playing and playing. I'm like, how is this? And then of course the Bo Sox did that. They beat them four straight games in a row and win the pennant. But it was like I remember watching that, going, it's late at night, like 11:30, midnight. I got to go to bed, and I'm like, ugh. If I'd had my radio with me, I'd be listening to the ESPN feed in bed, because like I hate it when games go to extra because it's like, I don't want to go to bed because this game's so good, But I always would listen to my little radio with the headphones at night when I was lying in bed. It's like, who's gonna know? No one's gonna hear it but me. I mean, that's like, what was it when people would tell Ernie Harwell all the time? Like, oh, I used to have my transistor little radio under my pillow at night when I'd hear you calling Tigers games. I mean, but yeah, I remember a lot of those times listening to ESPN radio or Reds games or whatever it is, and it's like I would hear the audio, and it's like, get involved. But that, and then of course going to see the Astros in the 05 series, that was a trip. I mean, that was fun. I never, not every day does a kid get to go to a World Series game, and the pictures we took, I mean, my dad and brother took, we still got them somewheres. I mean, they met John Miller. They met, my dad was in an elevator with Bud Selig once during that trip.
Oh my God, that's awful. I'm sorry.
Dad came up to me later and he told me, he said, I was just in the elevator and Bud Selig was in the, I said, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy, the roof was, I think it was closed, so the noise couldn't go all over the city, I guess. But I could listen. There was no radio feed. I couldn't listen to the radio, but it went on and on, and I'm like, I'm asking my brother, what's happening? What happened? And some of it I could tell because like Jason Lane hits a home run, woo, the train goes back and forth on the wall, or it's like a crowd's chanting. They've been doing all playoffs. I mean, so much noise. I mean, it was fun. I mean, and we were back in Kentucky the next night, and
you had to get back to moonshine in there, did you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just messing with you.
No, you're good. The time zone difference is a little weird because it's like Texas is an hour behind us, and we got back. It was like 11:30 something at night, and the game was still going on, and we got back in just in time to see the White Sox win the World Series and end their drought.
I'm glad that was nice, man. I mean, everybody forgot about the White Sox. It's like, come on.
That I'm happy for them too. I mean, they've had lots of years of misery ever since, especially last year. Ugh.
Well, they suck this year too. So,
oh my gosh, and it's just, I mean, I'm happy for the only drought that's still going on, I believe now, is the Cleveland Indians
and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And the Pirates. The Pirates have
We haven't won the World Series. We haven't been in the World Series since 1979. At least the Indians have been in the World Series. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that was large for us is 1992. But anyhow, guys, we have gone 2 hours and 19 minutes. So before we go, Mike, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Right now, again, it's the Sports Time Machine. You guys can click on. Luckily, if you have the wrench, you can just click on it and go ahead and subscribe. I'm starting on the best of best 30-team elimination tournament. I'm playing with Stratomatic.
When's that start, Mike? Or when's your next game, I should say?
The Cubs Twins are already done, the 7-game series. You can watch those 2 parts of it.
Okay.
Played the 7 games in those 2 streams.
Okay.
So whenever I play next, I'm not sure which side of the bracket I'll go on, but might do the Phillies Cleveland game, or head out that way. I'll know who plays Seattle next, and everything else will kind of fall in place.
So guys, do subscribe. Mike's always got great, interesting spins on his projects. He's always got something that's not exactly straightforward, which I love. Aaron, what do you got coming up on your channel, guys? Please subscribe to Aaron.
Please. Sometime this week, I'm going to be starting the 1966 World Series with Baseball for Windows. The Minnesota Twins and the pennant-winning AL pennant-winning Twins and the NL pennant-winning Philadelphia Phillies I'm going to be starting that World Series pretty soon on Baseball for Windows, and sometime this week. I plan on doing it sometime this week. Not in one stream, though. I'm probably going to maybe do a couple games, one stream, and then do maybe, 4 out of 7 games, you can finish that in a day, but I'm not going to stretch it out, just do it in a day. But
okay, good. Dwayne has the big this is hopefully that Mark Cohen is going to stay on release schedule, guys. Sometime on Monday. I'm going to try to bribe Dwayne to hang in there like 9 or 9:30 before he starts it. Basically because we're short staffed. Anybody wants a job at FedEx, let me know. Anyhow, Mike, yeah, I already said Mike. Mike is doing great things. Dwayne will be doing an unboxing of Digital Diamond Baseball 13, baby. So that's coming up. Dwayne's also been doing his the post 1960 Bats League, which is super cool. He did the pre 1961, which is in my mind like the bomb. It's awesome.
Isn't that still going on, or did you just stop it?
He's doing the post 60. He's doing post 60.
Right,
so the World Series project's on hiatus right now. But also Dwayne does red, white, and blue racing. You guys, I know, a lot of fans in the community of that. So there's Dwayne going. I'm just checking on our content creators have been hanging around a little bit. FAC Sports Desk with Paul does lots of good stuff, and he's really your go-to for pocket pennant run baseball. And I'm really gratified to see that Facebook group is crazy. It's growing all the time. More and more people jumping on to Pocket Pennant Run. It's a damn fine game. But Paul, just such a good guy. Nathaniel's going to be joining the ranks of YouTubers. MV, please check out his channel. He's been broadcasting Fields of Dreams stuff, which is really, really good.
We're already into September, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you guys are moving quickly.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah. Derek Bain, we're going to have Derek Bain on for a more focused. We had Derek Bain on one night, but we're going to have Derek. He has some sort of ideas where we're going to have a little bit more focused chats. So hopefully you guys will find that rewarding. Derek is just fantastic. Author and just a great guy to have on here. We have such a great family in this community. And that's why I just always say, please just subscribe, check out. You're never, ever going to be at a loss. Legend Sports Universe was with us earlier. Fantastic. You guys are in the mood for some baseball tonight. I know you're looking for a game here, but Saturdays that usually doesn't happen. It's usually we hang out and talk. Legend Sports Universe and his Franchise Stars Baseball League is just fantastic. And hey, check out D. Scott Howard's channel because he just posted a pet sitting video. Haywire the Wonder Dog. So guys, subscribe there too, please. And
Haywire the Wonder Dog.
Haywire the Wonder Dog. He's
I'll have to look him up.
D. Scott is our animal whisperer. He's our resident animal whisperer here, not just the dog whisperer. Great community. You're never going to be at a loss for baseball or the other lesser sports for that matter. Subscribe, guys, and let's keep this the family that we have going across all the channels strong. And also for you guys that don't have channels, that don't broadcast, what you do is important. If you're members of the Ned McGreevy League, the Ned McGreevy Discord, post what's going on, what projects you have going on, whether it's Cards and Dice Digital. What are you playing? What are you doing? Interact. Because it's not just about those of us who create content on here. It's about bringing everybody together because we're in a crazy hobby, simming sports games. Let's face it, we all need our heads examined, and it's fine. I own it. So interact, man, and let's keep it growing. This isn't about building this channel. This is about building everybody up and being so happy about this hobby that we're doing. Because let's face it, guys, we could be doing a lot worse things. We could be drinking. We could be getting into trouble. We could be doing whatever. And instead, we're coming together in this amazing hobby that, let's face it, if you have a significant other, she's not going to understand it, and that's okay too. Right? All right, guys. Until the next time, we'll see you around the batting cage tomorrow. Just on this channel, I'm going to be continuing the tournament, and I think tomorrow night we're going to see the Seattle Mariners tomorrow night. The 2001 Seattle Mariners playing the 1927 Yankees. I think that's who they're playing.
Wow, that ought to be Ichiro against Babe Ruth.
So yeah, how about a parallel league? Thank you, D. Scott Howard, Mike, and Aaron. Thank you, Paul. Thank you out there in the ether, Derek, Dwayne. Thanks tonight, guys, for being on here in the old Chinwag. To everybody else that's been in here tonight, it's getting it's again too long to thank everybody. AP was here, MV was here, Rick Guzman was here for a while. Thank you, Rick. Always appreciate you being in here. Next time in, you get a wrench. I think this was a smaller Chinwag tonight than usual, but that's okay. That's okay. It's fine. And so Nathaniel, of course, first in the ballpark. He usually is. He's taken over that spot from Robbie Wartburg, who used to be first. So Nathaniel, yeah. You too, Dwayne. Dwayne, before you go, when's your next game today? What are you playing a game today? So since you left, I mean, I've been saying what you've been doing, but when's your next game scheduled so people know before we go? I'll make Dwayne type here at 3 a.m. God, it's almost 4 a.m. Are you kidding me?
In about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I didn't expect to stay up this late.
I have been playing some starting lineup talking baseball recently. And cool. I'm still trying to get more of the team cartridges to play with because I'm wanting to have the full set, but
you will.
And so I've got 3 right now. I need to get 6 more, but
okay. Next game is going to be Yankees at Seattle. Not sure what time. And Paul, he's about to do some all-time some ATG games on his table. Paul, the Cubs. It was a squeaker. I ended the game because the Cubs were killing the Reds 7-3. You'll be happy to know that the Cubs held on and won 7-6 in the game we were doing. So he's got post 1961 Appa Bats. So that's going to be Yankees at Seattle. So sometime, I guess it is Sunday morning. So sometime today, guys, check it out, and we'll see you at some point here on Sunday, probably Sunday evening, for a continuation. I think it's Mariners Yankees. I don't know. I can't be arsed to bring up Owl Park baseball.
Good clock
right now. Yep, great go Cubbies. So yeah, we got a Cubs game, and you're in the tournament. You're going to see the 1906 Cubs. So you'll love that team. They're tough. So all right, guys. Till next time. Again, Mike, Aaron, thank you. Everybody, Paul,
have a good night.
Dwayne, all you guys. See you around the batting cage. All right, good night, guys.
Good night.